episode of the Wiley Show. How y'all doing? We are back in the studio. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to all of the producers. We are back. So we're going to have a fun, full show today. Ready to do it. So my first topic is I just pulled up my Twitter feed, and this came up on my Twitter feed. Tory Lanez is in the news, and he is denying his streams have dropped after Megan Thee Stallion shooting. Everybody know what happened, the alleged shooting with Megan Thee Stallion. In the article wrote, this was on Wrap Up, they said Tory Lanez continue to face backlash for allegedly shooting Megan Thee Stallion, but he won't let his reputation be tarnished. A couple of rappers had called him out on it. Some rappers had even removed him from their album. Now, Forbes report that fans may be boycotting his music. The outlet claimed that Tory total stream numbers have plummeted by up to 40% in the wake of Megan's accusations. His streams were between 20 to million streams since mid-June, according to Nelson Music slash MRC data. However, after Megan's live stream on August 20th, Tory's streaming numbers reportedly fell by nearly 9 million, a 40% decrease from the previous week, 22 million. After Forbes published their story, Tory has come forward to deny the report. He told the Hot New Hip Hop that his streaming numbers have not taken a hit. LMAO, that's such a lie. 40% where? He wrote in a Twitter DM, I have 27 million monthly listeners on Spotify currently. And he wrote the DM, and on the DM he said he have 20 million listeners on Spotify currently. Now we're currently hearing this currently all on his Twitter and all on his Facebook. Everybody is talking about this situation for months. You know, ever since it happened, everybody was having their own theories of it, and Tory Lanez have taken a hit on his career because of these accusations. Now, I'm not going to say that he did it or didn't do it because, you know, she admitted that he did do it. So it's like this big thing that now we know that Tory Lanez was the one that, you know, allegedly shot Megan Thee Stallion, and he's taking a big hit on his career. Now, if some of our fans even want him to even be demonetized, him not even to be booted off Spotify. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. Some of the fans even saying that they even want him to be, sent back to his country, back to Canada, because he's not even an American citizen. So it's a lot that is going on between the two. It is really, really a lot. So I don't know if he's quote unquote finished. I told his people, I'm like, bring back quarantine radio. Who cares? This is good publicity. Don't hide over a rock. If you say you innocent, bring back quarantine radio. And that's one thing about me. I'm gonna send an email. I'm gonna send a DM. I'm gonna send a voice note. And let me send him another one. I sent the one last week. Let me send him another one. Hello, y'all. Sure. Well, why hide? If you ain't do it, don't hide. If where is it? Is he right here? Okay, and he got his cash up in his bio, but it doesn't matter. Let me select my voice up. Hey, what's up, Tory Lanez? This is Wiley from the Wiley Show. Listen, don't hide under a rock. If you didn't do this to Megan, come back with quarantine radio. I come on your show, and you know what I'm saying. I get up there and twerk or whatever you want me to do, or co-host the quarantine radio. But don't hide under a rock. If you say you innocent, come back. Don't hide. Continue to do your social media. Release new music. They're talking about you. Good publicity, bad publicity. Guess what? What's the common denominator? Publicity. Okay. So don't hide. If you did you in that pinky toe, then come on out. You deserve to have your side of the story told, just like Megan had her side of the story told. You decide to have yours so you can come on out here. You come on to the Wiley Show and give us the exclusive, or you can just send me a DM and just to say what's your thoughts on this whole Megan Thee Stallion situation. So we get to messages, give me a call back. All right, brother, you be blessed. Hope all is well, and just stay away from the guns and everything like that, because we don't want you to be getting into another controversy. I just want to say that. I just had to say that. Just stay away from guns and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I get up there and twerk in a hot second. I get up there. Okay, I get up there and do it. But the reason why I say this because his side is deserving to be heard as well. Because I'm like, if you did hit her in her foot and it got through all the crust on her foot, you know, why you not in jail? That's just my whole my whole opinion about the situation. Okay, that's just my whole opinion. If you definitely wait a minute, did I send that? Let me go send. Okay, I sent the Tory Lanez. Okay. I think he should not. I think he should talk about the situation. I think he shouldn't. I think he should talk about the situation. Okay. I really think he should talk about the situation. If my name being dropped, if I didn't do it, if I didn't commit no crime, I'm going to speak up. That's how I'm going to do it, and I'm just going to keep it real. Why keep it a secret? Okay. Why keep it a secret? If I'm innocent, I would definitely talk about it. That's just me. I'm listening to y'all comments. I'm reading y'all comments, and y'all can post below. Of course, we'll open up the phone lines, but make sure y'all be on time. Don't call it. Well, Wiley, what would you talk about? I missed the show. Well, you got to catch the replay, baby. All right. And then there's something else that I do want to talk about too, and this is so disgusting. Ugh. Let me go to the neighborhood talk because they reported on. I love Kyle from the neighborhood talk. Shout out to Kyle. He came in the chat about a week or two ago. Let me see if I can bring it up. Okay, this woman claimed that Odell. Now this is Chief Keef's ex-girlfriend, and she claimed allegedly that Odell flew her out to do a number 2 on him. That he have a number 2 fetish. That this football player, I think his name is Odell, flew her out to do a number 2. And he wanted her to take a picture of her doing a number 2. He's obsessed with doing a number 2. And I literally like, ew, but then I had a flashback because I could remember I used to talk to this gospel singer, and I'm not going to say no names, but in Chicago, whatever, I hit him up. I wanted to see him, and I knew he, that way, the way how he send them high notes, I knew he was part of the community. So he came over my house, and he was like, I want you to pass gas. No, first of all, he said on the phone, I want you to pass gas on me. Pass gas. I've never heard of pass gas. Like, what is this? So when he came over, I could not pass no gas for nothing. It looked like God had my cheeks shut up. It couldn't do nothing. He said, you sure you can eat some or drink a Pepsi or eat some pork and beans? No matter what I ate, no matter what I drank, I could pass gas for nothing. So as soon as he left, hit the stairs, get in that car, it was coming out. But he could not get on unless I was passing gas. So the reason why I say this story is not far-fetched. People do have fetishes. People do have these fetishes. People do have these things that they like, and it's just something with me. Now, this woman, I've never hardly seen her before. They say she's Chief Keef's ex-girlfriend, because that's what On Site was reporting, that's Chief Keef's ex-girlfriend. And she said that Odell reached out to her, this famous man, this wealthy man, this millionaire, and said, hey, take a picture of you boo-booing. And she said, I ain't take a picture, I took a video. And she said, I tried to make it seem to be so sexy of me boo-booing. I'm like, what is sexy about boo-boo? What is sexy about that? Ain't that sexy about no boo-boo? Ain't that sexy? It smells. That's nasty. And the viruses and the bumps and no telling what can you go, ain't nothing say about no. So when they was talking about, they were talking about it like ain't no ew. They were like, oh my God, you just did it. He wants you to do that. Like, wow, like, and I try to do it so sexy. I try to do it like, oh, I'm like, what the world? And so, of course, Black Twitter just summed it up. They all on Black Twitter just talking about it. They all on Black Twitter. Everybody throwing their jokes. Everybody up there throwing their jokes, okay? It was so like, he was like trending. And mind you, these women that's on here, they are like industry industry girls, the industry women that sleep with a lot. They're claiming that they sleep with a lot of the industry. One of the hosts on there actually slept with Snoop Dogg. And then she slept with a lot of other people. Another host on there actually slept up so many basketball players. I think she said 30 of them that she went down on. So that show is just like for all the H words. It should be called H Radio. That's what it should be called. That's what it should be called. H Radio. Okay? Loose Cooch Radio. That's what it should be called. Because the way how they be out here doing it, that's what it should be called. Loose Cooch Radio. It should be called that. I don't know what they call it or but it should be called Loose Cooch Radio. That's a good name. Loose Cooch Radio. They can sell that. Because that's all they talk about. Now, I should have said Loose Cooch Radio, because some people go, oh my God, Wiley supposed to be for black women, and he said Loose Cooch Radio. What are they talking about? They talking about boo-boo, suck it up, get it down, get it humped, get it in. What do you call it? Loose throat radio or thickety thing down your thickety thing radio? What do you call it? It should be called Wet A Wop. It should call Spank Puna Nyoni. All that stuff, but with all that don't smell clean, boo boo. And then he said, Odell said, a lot of body radio. That's a good one. Because Odell was like, don't take a shower. Don't take a shower. Don't take a shower. I'm like, you already know down that what is stinky. And it's probably fishy. I don't care what nobody say. Because he said, don't take it. Don't call me a fishy. It's probably fishy though. Because he said, don't take a shower for 24 hours. Now, if you already taking all type of pee and then you ain't taking a shower for 24 hours, you know that's stinky. You already know down there. And Pangea ain't going to get through that funk. You need some soaps. You need body wash, some different type of soaps. And you got to stay there and let it seep through there. You know what I'm saying? So yes, stinky. You already know. Okay, I just had to say that because you gotta smell good. And men like a good smelling woman. If you smell good, a good smelling woman, men love that. Men love a good smelling, but some men love a good stinky woman. Some men get turned on. The more stinky, the more aggressive they love you. Some men have that type of fetish. Some men, I saw a post, I want you to be fishy smell. Like that's how they get turned on. They love certain type of smells. Some men don't care if it's just the time of the month. They love to go down you on that time of the month. They get turned on by that. So some men like that. I'm just saying, stinky. Some men love it stinky, and gushy, and sticky. Some men love it like that. Now every man don't like women that's clean. Y'all say, ew, it's some men that don't care. But that's what they said on there. Now a disclaimer, because I already know the comments are gonna come in the chat. Look at Wiley. He talking about black women. I said women. I'm not going to put a color on funk because he said don't take a shower for if this true, you already sat on the toilet and boo-boo. Then he said Odell said don't take a shower for 24 hours. So you can just imagine on Spirit Airlines, it's stinky down there. Now, mind you, you got to be clean. I don't want to sit by no woman or no man that had boo-boo, didn't use no tissue, didn't use no Pangea wash, no olive leaf extract, and then take no shit. That's some funky smell right there. And got the audacity to spray some perfume. Funk, yucky funk don't mix with perfume. You literally gotta bathe thoroughly, shower, then you put little drops of perfume or cologne, squirt. But if you didn't wash under your body, because some of us got a body that we got different parts and different creases and different this and different that, you got to hit all them creases. But some men don't care if it's a little onion smell. Some men don't care. Some men like a little funky smell. Now, something wrong with you if you like it funky. Make it fun, make it funky, make it funky, make it make it funky, make it funky. I don't like it like that. Some men like it funky. Gotta be ass. I don't understand that. I would have to blow my nose because people were talking about me. They were talking about me. Okay, let's change the subject. All right. Let me change the subject. But that's what they were talking about. Okay. All right. Let's change the subject. Wait a minute. Oh gosh. Okay, man. I just like, man. Let's change the subject. Oh Lord, that needs some air freshener after talking about that. But they don't mind. They don't mind talking about stuff like that. They don't mind having those type of conversations on that radio. Stinky radio. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it stinky radio. Now, Cardi B and Candace Owens is going at it, y'all. Candace Owens and Cardi B. Now, Candace Owens is a big Trump supporter. She's black. She's married to a white man. And she was letting Cardi B have it. She said, you illiterate. She said, Joe Biden came on your show to pander to the black people. She said that you're making the black due to your song WAP. And she said the whole thing out. And she said, you're making the black community look bad, talking about WAP. She also said that, you know, you don't know too much about politics. She said that it's a high possibility to Cardi. This is what Candace said to Cardi B, that you to be killed by your husband than by a police officer. Your husband would you be the main one to be killed by him than by a police officer. I'm like, Candace, you hitting below the belt like that? Then she said, since most black people didn't have the spine to admit that was 100% correct about Cardi B and how her music and platform contributes to the what is that? Disintegration of black culture and values. Here you go. And so she just really a drag. Then Cardi B's sister, literally this white Trump supporter with a hairy chest, came at Cardi B's sister and pretty much was in her face. And this is what Cardi B said. You want to know why Joe got to talk to me, Candace? Because I have the #1 song. Yet my sister can't go to the beach and in the Hamptons without Trump supporter harassing because they were by themselves. Santa Claus was harassing my sister, girlfriend, all because they were Afro/Hispanic gay couple. And this is what Candace said. Candace said this. She said, to clarify, Joe Biden got to talk to you because you have the #1 song and Santa Claus was harassing your sister. Okay, thanks for clearing that one up. And this is what Cardi B responds to Candace. She said this, quote, she said, yes, you are right. I have the #1 song. I have a huge platform and I can make millions to go vote to get the man that used you. I don't want to argue with you, Candace. I really don't have the time. I honestly just feel sorry for you. And this is what Candace wrote. She said, you are encouraging millions to go vote for the man that locked up an entire generation of black men. Maybe go Google Joe Biden in the 1994 crime bill. Joe Biden used you. Bernie Sanders used you. Neither one of them like or know your music. They think you're dumb. Ooh, Candace. Then Cardi B responded. and you are encouraging millions to vote for a man who laugh every time a black man gets killed by a cop and tell millions of Americans to drink bleach. Trump didn't even have you talking at the Republican convention. He thinks you are dumb. MASA did you dirty, but you mad at me. Master did you dirty, but you mad at me. And then Candace responded. Lastly, asking racist Joe Biden to lower your taxes in the same breath that you ask for free universal health care is about as thick as it gets. When you stick to music, you can get left alone. When you dabble in politics, you will get called out for performance ignorance. Let me see. And then Cardi B responded and said, well, paying taxes is something that, as much as I hate, is a reality. I will always have to pay. But I'd rather my tax money go to free education than police funding. Use my money on something useful. Your president used our tax dollars, our tax money to F his empty campaign runs. And then that's when Cardi B responded. Then Candace Owens, she went on IG and she responded to Cardi B. Then Cardi B responded to Candace, and they're both like going at it. And I hear Candace's point, I hear Cardi B point, but let me speak to Candace's point, right? If you do Google the 1994 crime bill of Joe Biden, it's very disturbing how Joe Biden wrote the crime bill. Like he was the author of the crime bill, but you got to put that in context. The old Wiley would say, look at what he did with the crime bill. But the Wiley that needs to do research, I go back to 1994 and let's see the climate of that era. A lot of black mayors and a lot of black politicians were calling for tougher gun laws. We're calling for tougher crime laws on the books because gang culture and drug culture was extremely high. So in that time, they wanted politicians, they wanted Congress to act. So that's what Congress did. They went a little bit too far with acting with the 1994 crime bill, because then you put 3 strikes, you're out. A lot of stuff was like, a lot of people went to jail, and it took a lot of black men out of homes. Some women started serving huge amount of time. It took discretion from the judge, and it went to the prosecutor. Instead of the judge being able to have discretion, they had to send people to jail for for decades for a little crack or little this. Then you have the powder cocaine versus the crack cocaine. It was like different for powder than it was for crack. Crack, you got harsher sentences than powder. So it's a lot of that with that 1994 crime bill that caused a lot of incarceration. The numbers went through the roof because of that 1994 crime bill. And the author of that, the one that put the pen to the paper, was Joe Biden. He had to be blamed and he had to be called out for that. He can apologize for that. Bill Clinton apologized for that, but it happened. And let's not act like Democrats did not put that on the book. They did. They were part of that. So let's not act like it don't exist. And that should also be brought up. If we're going to call out Trump ways, we also got to call your ways out, Joe Biden, back in 1994, because you are part of locking black men and women up and Hispanics up at higher numbers, and you were part of that bill. You wrote it. So let's not act like you innocent. Let's not act like, oh, Trump is just so bad and so evil, and I'm so innocent, because you're not that innocent like Trump. At least what Trump can say, while you was helping locking folks up, Sleepy Joe, I was letting people out of prison. Like this black woman, and he probably can point to her to stand up. He is letting people out of prison. He's working with Kim Kardashian. He did the First Step Act. So let's not come at Trump's throat as though he just all evil and Biden is an angel, because they both have done some effed up stuff for poor people around the world, especially for poor and brown folks in America. So they both have done something wrong. One ain't innocent over the other. When it comes to poor black and brown folks, both of them, Trump and also Biden, both have done evil to black and brown people. Both of them. I don't care if you do got Kamala Harris running in her gym shoes, getting off a jet to campaign. That don't make me go to sleep as the destruction that you have caused to my people. I'm happy that, you have a sister or woman that represents so many cultures on the ticket, but I'm not dumb to the fact, and I ain't gonna ask you about the 1994 crime bill. I'm still gonna ask you about it. And Trump, if you smart, that should be your strategy. Is to target him on the 1994 crime bill, target him on busing, target him on the things that he flopped on decades ago, call him out on it. I don't give a damn if it was 30 years ago. It happened, Reverend Al Sharpton. So I don't care if you say, well, that happened 30 years ago. I don't care if it happened 60 years ago. It happened. And we are yet still dealing with that 30, 40, 30 plus years later. So let's not act as though that he can't be called out. Because if you open up Pandora box to call out Trump racist rhetoric, Biden, you might as well call he is out as well, because he ain't so innocent. Okay? So and Al Sharp, Reverend Al Sharp, he don't speak for me. I don't care. The skinny version or the overweight version, he don't speak for me. He don't speak for all of Black America. Don't agree with everything that Reverend Al Sharpton says. The skinny version or the one that didn't have a neck version. But at the end of the day, some stuff I agree with Reverend Al Sharpton with. Some things I disagree with my brother. But I don't agree just because he speaks. Don't think for a second that he represents all of Black America. That's a lie. Because where you at in the hood in Chicago that's falling apart and crime stricken, and it's going through so much destruction for decades, and that's run by Democrats. I should bring my camera and just do a whole. That's what I need to do. I'm gonna check with get my videographer. Let me just go to the hood of Chicago. This is run by Democrats, not by Republicans. Chicago run by wicked Democrat that run this city, and they ran it to the pits of hell. That's what they run it to, and it's run by Democrats. Democrats run Chicago, and they done ran it, and it's just as evil, and the hood is just as raggedy as it was when I first left there. So, maybe I need to go to that city. And it was raggedy in Chicago when Dr. King lived in Chicago. It was raggedy. It was raggedy when he was down there. And it's raggedy now. I need to pan that camera so y'all can see the hood of Chicago. And they wonder why, oh my gosh, Mr. Wiley, y'all got so much crime in Chicago because it's private in there. They ain't got nothing. Only thing you can do is get you a gun, which is crazy that you go and just do all type of crazy stuff. We need investments in that city. You let it go. You live in Beverly Hills and you lose all your good jobs in Beverly Hills, lose all your stocks and bonds, lose your good jobs, lose your investments, lose everything. Let everybody in Beverly Hills lose their job and lose hospitals and lose mental health investment, everything. Beverly Hills will be just as bad as the south side of Chicago. The only reason why Beverly Hills is not as crime infested as Inglewood is because they got more investments. People got to protect their home. They're homeowners. They work good jobs, and they got a lot of resources in that area. But when you go to the side, they don't have those many resources. They need resources, not more police officers. We need massive investments in that city because desperate people will do some desperate things. Because I went right there, and that's happening all over the world. But I'm not all over the world. I can only speak to what I see for myself, whether I'm in South Dallas, in the hood, some parts of South Dallas, stricken in poverty, then versus going to Frisco, then versus going to Carrollton, then versus going to Plano. You go to all these, or far north, you go to all them nice areas. It's why their crime is so low. It's because they got massive investments in those areas, generational wealth. Then versus going to poverty-stricken areas in Dallas. No matter where you go, when the most crime is at, you're going to see poverty. Poverty is there. If you're not willing to target poverty and help get policy to get people up out of poverty, don't talk about how you're going to handle crime, because that trick with more police officers, that's the oldest lie and the stupidest strategy I've ever heard. Well, let's just get more police officers. That ain't going to help the situation. What about hungry children? What about parents that need jobs? What about people that need better housing? Period. Like, what about that? All you wanted, but you would rather spend billions on a police officer with a weapon and a taser and a camera. Like, come on now, let's stop. Let's sit down somewhere. I just sit down somewhere. And run by Democrats, and we got another Democrat that's in Chicago. She's part of the community, and I'm like, what is she doing? And I need to pay attention to Lori Lightfoot. I need to keep my foot on that administration, because just because you're a Black woman, that don't make me seem like I'm just going. What are your policy for Black people? First of all, I'm gonna look at what you're doing for us first as Black folks. Then when I went to the area, I said, what the world, how they running this city? What is your speech like? What is your policy like when it comes to the money? I always look at an administration, right? I judge them how they put money into areas. I judge an administration on what policies are they putting into place, right? Even with Biden and Joe Biden, one of the main things, I'm going to look at economics. I'm like, what are you going to do for unemployment? Or people that's unemployed? You could give them the $600 a week. What are you going to do for frontline workers? I look at what are you going to do for healthcare? All of those things is economics. Everything that I'm mentioning, I look at the economic piece, because that's a big piece. It's a big piece. You can't get good treatment unless you got insurance, unless you got the money to get it. You ain't got no good treatment. You ain't getting that root canal if you ain't got no dental or you ain't got the money to pay. They're not going to do it. So what I'm saying is, whatever administration, whoever wins, whatever the campaign, I look at what are you going to do with the poverty issue? What are you going to do for poor folks? What are you going to do for people that's unemployed? And people that have lost their job? What are you going to do for restaurant owners that just gone because of the pandemic? So that's how I'm going to judge and be more watchful on how they talk about the money. Like how they talk, when you can tell to see how good or bad a politics is going to be when it comes to that money, when it comes to finance, and you pay attention to that a little bit more. But back to the Chicago piece, I was in the city. I talked to people in the city, and they are sad and deprived. And now it's creeping up downtown. Their places are out of business and stuff like that, because if you don't resolve this, because you got decades of mismanagement, right? So the pandemic just literally creeped into a situation that was already deprived of just opportunities. That came in just wiping infrastructure just up. Then you're dealing with the police just killing unarmed, innocent folks. Then you get the community like, we're not being heard. So what we're going to do? We're going to loot. We're going to do this. Even though I'm against looting, I'm against rioting. I'm against people that does that. But I understand it is because it is a message of the unheard. If you're not being heard, you would do something to just like a baby. If a baby not being heard, they're going to do something. They're going to cry. They're going to start acting up in school. And then you got to be like, why is this child acting up? Because maybe that child wants you to, they're not being heard. So they will do things for you to pay attention to them. In this situation, the community, a lot of them, they're not being heard. They're not being represented. And a lot of people come to the community, lie to them, talking about vote for us, get us here, we're going to change. They vote them in, ain't nothing changed. Because Inglewood, I'm going to be clear with you, President Trump, because you said a message that made me get out of my house to go vote for you during the, not the general election, to vote during the primaries. You said something that was very effective that made me get out and change my party. He said, your schools are no good. You have no job. Your community, this and this. And I'm like, I was looking at Inglewood. I'm like, you right about that. I've been voting Democrat my whole life. And this city just went. So let me give Trump a chance. And then people are like, you should vote Hillary. So I went on to vote Hillary during the general election. So now I'm back in Chicago under the Trump administration. I'm like, okay, let's see how this city have changed under Obama administration than Trump administration. Let's go see. It's actually worse under the Trump administration versus the Obama administration. And now we under a Black woman administration, Lori Lightfoot, and it's still run down, dirty, and nowhere near investments. It's actually gotten worse. Because if you're not willing as a politician to speak up to the powerful infrastructure, the powerful purse holders and wallet holders, and tell them that it's time that y'all put the money in these black and brown areas, if you're not willing to say that as a leader, sit down somewhere, don't run for office, don't call yourself being a mayor, because you just as weak as they come. If you're not willing to tell the people that got the money, they say, all right, people, for decades, y'all have been sucking the resources from these black and brown communities. Now it's time that y'all put massive investments in there. The city, all of our city money, all the money that we got in these banks, if y'all not willing to invest in black communities, we're going to withdraw our money and put it in black-owned banks. You need a leader that's going to speak up like that, even though you're going to get dragged, even threatened. But I can see that this woman really wants the betterment for her people, because now she's calling out the people with the money to put money in black and brown areas. But if you ain't talking like that, if you talking like, well, we're going to get 3,000 more police cops, we're going to open up another police academy so they can learn how to shoot and kill black folks. And like, come on now, that ain't going to handle the situation. More police, we got too many of them. And they come in their life and drinking up the bars and all that type of thing. They just lost the police officer. He just got a promotion. He ain't lived to see that good promotion. He didn't die because they have mental illnesses and disorders too, because they overwork and all of that, and drinking and all of that. So it needs to be more investments to help for mental health for police officers. That should be one of the requirements that you see as psychiatrists. If you don't want to go see, you can't be a police officer, because we need to do a mental evaluation to see how are you doing mentally. Because if you hearing voices and seeing things and drinking, you don't need to be no police officer. You need to be somewhere getting help, and then we allow you to come back until you're well enough. I'm just saying. I agree with you. Until drugs is off the streets. That needs to be. And that's why you need investments in those communities, right? You need investments. That's all I'm saying. We will open up the phone lines. A couple of more subjects that I do want to talk about. A couple of more subjects that I want to talk about, and we're going to open up the phone line. I went to Chicago. Did I talk about everything in the title? I'm going to make sure. I did. Okay, I visited Chicago, and I lost someone that I've known for years, Mother Betty Price, and this mother have been very active in Chicago. And we wrote this letter. We wrote this because we want people to donate to her organization that she had to feed the homeless. Now, when I was in Chicago, I actually traveled to her building, the FCHN, Feed, Clothe, Help the Needy. She have actually fed and clothed the homeless for like more than 30 years, right? And she even helped my stepdad when he even lost everything. So even helped myself and many people in my family. So I wrote this, and I want to read this to you all because we asking for your help. Mother Betty Price have transitioned, and we want her legacy with FCHN to live on. Mother Betty Price fed, clothed, and provided support to the homeless for over 30 plus years. A staple in our community, Mother Price changed the lives of so many and reinstated hope for those who have lost it. Her legacy must continue, and I'm asking with every ounce of love inside of me that if you can, please donate to the FCHN via Cash App to $FCHN program. It would mean the world to me if you could donate. Mother Price was a big part of my childhood, and I saw firsthand the sacrifice she made for those in need. And of course, I put the Facebook information on there as well. So, and she was just a pillar in that area, because when I looked at Chicago and how she fed the people, and I didn't even know until her daughter said it on the news that her mom lost 3 homes, to make sure the doors of the FCHN stay open, to her organization to stay open. She lost 3 homes to stay open because she would feed the homeless, she would clothe them, she would do that, help people. And now, since this pandemic, even her organization will have to do a little bit more work, right? And they would cook like the food that she would cook. It would be soulful. It would be chicken, greens, macaroni and cheese. It would be like real home cooked meals that she would cook for the homeless. It wasn't something that was nasty to have, because I would eat the food when I would go and visit. And she would be right there every day. How you doing, Brother Marquise? I want you to sing my song. I was saying what God has for me, waving water. Like, she was very active for when, when she did attend my church, where my uncle pastor, she would have put these programs, and she was the reason that, for Christmas, give the kids Christmas gifts, and the church will be packed from like front to back. Now, we would only go to church just to get Christmas stuff, okay? That's the only time my mom would come to church. When it was Easter, Christmas, we gonna be at church because she gonna give a lot of, and then when we go, she would want us to get up and sing, my brothers and them. We would get up and sing. Now, mind you, we had a little group, and that it was under their last name. And we would get up and we would sing a song, waving the water with guys. We would just sing. We would sing Kurt Franklin Love. We would sing so much songs, right? And she got me into singing. And it'd be like some days I didn't want to sing. And she don't mind putting that mic up to her. Come on, Brother Marquise, get up there and sing. Even if your name is on the program. I'm like, I don't want to sing. And you can't say no to Mother Betty Price, because she had that deep, raspy voice. Get up here and sing that song. So I would get up and I would sing. And she was my uncle's, she was my uncle's reader. So she would get up there and she would read that Bible. I would know, if he say, read Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, and she wouldn't need no mic. I'm like, good God Almighty. So I would, so it was a lot of great memories. I had a Mother Betty Price, a lot of awesome memories of her. The last time I seen her, I physically seen her was like about maybe 6 or maybe 7 years ago. We were at a visiting church, me and my best friend at the time, and I needed her to drop me off home. So I when I was in Chicago, I showed y'all the church that we used to visit as a kid. And I went there, and it was like a service. So she was there. She dropped me off. And she said, well, I don't know if your people okay with me dropping you off, because she left. And it was like, it was a big split. They would talk bad about her. I didn't know why she left until like years later, because I'm like, why did she leave? I would hear all this stuff. And I would hear all of this bad stuff they would say about this woman. And I didn't know, like, I would just hear about it. Because I'm like, why did she leave the church? I didn't find out until years later when the situation happened to me. And I called her and I found out why did she leave, or her side of the story, or why did she leave? Because I heard everybody else's side, including my uncle and other church members. So just seeing her pass on and just transition, only thing is I wish that she was able to like get along or to talk with people in the church that she left, so they could just talk, because they talked about her negatively. I wish that they could have just came together and had that conversation, and just to sit and have that talk. But they never did have that conversation to sit down and talk and all of that. It was just bad how that situation happened. But that just taught me as an adult that make that phone call and see how they doing and see how this person, because you just never know when your time is going to be up. So when I went by her building, I said, I went by the building. I said, I was by her building that she fed the homeless. And I could just remember as a kid going there, and she would give me Walmart gift cards, and you would go to Walmart, and she would just do so much for the community. I could even remember when she threw an appreciation for the Chicago police officers. She threw something for them, and to honor police officers and show, stuff, especially for the good ones, and honor the good ones that's doing something. I remember she did that as growing up. So she did literally so much. And I was like, man, I don't want this to go, because if this place end or go out of business, where are these homeless people that don't have anything will be able to go? Where are you going to be able to go to get like a good home cooked, good food that you probably used to eating and good seasoning in it? Where can you go and find this? So it was an idea, and I was like, man, let me ask my audience to give $1, $2, $5 to keep the place open. And then once they make the frontal arrangements and once they get settled in, of course, I will call them and see what can I do to like donate like foods and different things to that organization. So once I get more information, I will let you all know, because I will be back in Chicago, and I could just add that to my situation where I can just go and like donate food and do all of that. So I will let y'all know, because I will be back in the city next month. I will be back in Chicago actually next month. So when I got to Chicago, it was incredible, right? I got on Spirit Airlines. First of all, I didn't like it because my knees was up to my chest. It was like really bad. But I really didn't complain because I started reading my book, and I really didn't like takeoffs. I'd be really, really nervous when the plane take off. But this time, I said, you know, you can't be nervous. I wasn't nervous. The plane took off, listened to my music, and I was reading my book. The plane lands, then I get to the hotel, and I got to the hotel, checked in. As soon as I get to the hotel, I was washing my hands. The pipe, like the water just came down, all on the floor. So they had to change my room from that room to another room. Then I got to that room, they was having toilet issues. And then when I got back to the hotel, then it just overflowed all the water all over there. Then I put towels down, then they had to put me into another room. So it was like issues with that. But that was that piece. But then I went to my mom's. I visited my mom's. Really didn't like the first visit. So I left. I was there for like 5, maybe 10 minutes. Then I left. And then I went to, first of all, I went to Jaquez house with my friend. Went there. We linked up. We did a show. It was an awesome show. Then I went back to the hotel. Then I looked. I said, wow, why don't I just spend this money that I've garnered from Patreon and get a car so I can travel and show Patreon people the city? So I said, okay, let me rent a car, and so I could just move around, the city. So then we did that. So we traveled and we looked around. Then I got a text from Shantae. Then Shantae was like, can you come and visit me? And I said, yeah, fine. So I had to run on. So I went to go visit her. Beautiful family, beautiful situation. It was so beautiful meeting Shantae, which is she mods. She's been modding for us for a long time. Oh, somebody said, I got the FCHN information all on my community posts. Can you mod? She mods me forever, and she's one of the ones that live in Chicago. So I said, okay. Went to her home, beautiful spirit, beautiful family. And I love seeing a Black family. You know what I'm saying? Because I haven't been in a home with family like other than my own. I'm like, okay, yes, it's Chicago style. I knew I was in Chicago. It's that Chicago style, and it was beautiful. We had a beautiful conversation. And then she was like, her son was like, my mom love you. And then she was like, well, my sister love you. And so our sister got, oh my gosh, Wiley. And it was just a beautiful conversation because I'm very, humble. And when people view me, so this was like a long time when I actually see people that watch me on a consistent basis and to like visit them, especially in my hometown. And I was like, I really, really loved it. And I talked to her, she FaceTimed her sister. It was like really great. Beautiful, just a beautiful spirit. And she was like, you need to stop telling people you fat because you not fat. You got to look good. But you need to stop telling people that you fat and all that because you ain't fat. And so, because with me, I know I'm not fat, but I say something, just entertainment factor or whatever they said. So it was really nice. I met her brother, met her kid. It was beautiful, like a beautiful situation. It was so nice. That was one of my highlights of the trip. Then I went there. Then I went back to Jaquez's house. Shout out to Jaquez. Amazing host. He opened up his home for me to interview people. It was so nice, y'all. Like that interview that I did with Jaquez was really nice. And he opened up his home to interview Double X Rated. And he was like, you can interview him here. So I was like, that's cool. I was like, thank you. Thank you for that, bro. Like, the man had the lights, the water, everything I needed. He had it. He had the plugs and this and all this connected. And it was so, like, nice. And so we did the interview with Jaquez, beautiful. Then we went on his page. and we went on his channel. It was great. It was amazing chemistry. Did not interview Double X Rated, and then we did all that. We had a beautiful conversation. Then I found out that he lived not too far from my mother. So this before I had to rent a car. He said, "Well, I can take you to your mom's house." Then he dropped me off over there. I saw my mom. It was some stuff I heard, some stuff she said. I wasn't feeling the vibe, so I said, "I'm really not feeling it." So I left. It was like 5 minutes. I wasn't feeling it. So I went back to the hotel. I was able to eat. We got into some things on Patreon. I talked about it. Then I slept on it. I said, I got to give this another chance because I don't know how much time I have with my parents. I don't know how much time I have on earth. So I said, let me give this another try. So she said, I'm going to barbecue. I'm going to do this. That's great. But I wanted to lay eyes on my grandmother. I wanted to see my grandma because I haven't seen her in like forever. It's been a long time. And I wanted to lay eyes on her. Then my mom was like, oh, no, this and this. She was saying stuff really making any sense. So I said, I'm here. And some told me, just go up the stairs. Now, mind you, I'm on Patreon, right? And I'm like, maybe they open them, maybe not. So I go up the stairs, boom, boom, boom. I left, went in the car. And then my sister, she said, Marquise. I'm like, oh. And I heard her voice. And because that's my baby sister, even though she got a daughter, but that's still my baby sister. So she said my name, and I went inside, and my grandmother said, she said, you know, Marquise, I love you. And I could have just balled up. And I wish I could have done more for my grandmother, more money. I wish I had like $1 million check to give to my grandmother because she was that safe haven for me. And I understand, I get it where she's coming from because I've done so much. You know, I talked about her church members and I said a lot of stuff. But to hear that from her, that literally like made me break down in tears. And people on Patreon was able to hear it. Then I cut the phone off because I wanted to show her Mother Betty Price, you know, the news stuff. So I let her see that because she wasn't able to see that. We were able to talk. Most of the time I was able to let her talk because when you're dealing with elderly people, you got to let them just vent and talk. So she was talking and we were talking and and it was great. Then I saw my niece and then I left. I left and I just went to lay eyes. And when I was going down the stairs, I said, I hope and pray that my grandmother can live to see the day her grandson become a millionaire so I can retire her and to remodel her home. That is my desire. You know what I'm saying? So I said, I got to work really, really harder. So I got back in the car. Then we were driving, going around. We went to Washington Park. It's just like it. But then we U-turn because I'm not going to Washington Park. I was gonna go to Harold's, but then they had too many people up in that Harold's. I was like, the vibe ain't right. But I just show like my people everywhere, like different parts that I wanted to share. I couldn't share everything, but I was sharing as much. Then I said, okay, the next day I'm gonna visit my mom. We're gonna go to the barbecue. So, but beforehand, I had another interview scheduled because another artist said, Ike said, I want to interview. Now, mind you, I'm staying like next to O'Hare Airport, like literally 5 minutes away from O'Hare. Most of these people don't interview and live out like an hour or some away. To me, that ain't no big thing because I'm used to driving an hour to Fort Worth or Arlington or whatever. I'm used to driving an hour. That don't get to me. So he came over and he interviewed. He came over and we did the interview. Then I was able to put the phone how it should be this way instead of this way. So I put it that way to get a full view of it. Beautiful conversation. And it was nice. Then it was some mess and drama with that interview. Because, when you're dealing with artists, you deal with a lot of mess. And these people that I'm interviewing, I just want to reiterate, they were on the Wiley Show when it was nobody like pretty much checking for Wiley, right? I had low viewership. Very, very low viewership. So when I got on the Wiley Show, as now coming back with an audience, I never forgot though. I said, I'm going to bring them on the Wiley Show and bring them on and introduce my audience to them to help them with their streams, etc. So we're talking, doing that. Then it was time for the Shades Creations. I was so booked. I said, but I got to see my mom. I do Shades Creations. You all were so interested. We had to do the Q&A. Then once the Shades Creations, as soon as that, then I get in the car and drive to my mom's house. And she stayed like an hour away, hour and 20 minutes away from where I was staying at. I said, I will go over there and do it. And I went to my mom's house. I was nervous, and I said, okay. As soon as I get in the door, I see my niece. At this part, I didn't record none of this because this is like a private one. I didn't record none of this. And my mom said, well, who was that? That's my uncle. Oh my God, she gave me a hug. Oh my God, I could have broken out in tears. Now, mind you, this is my baby sister daughter, right? And mind you, I could just remember, and I was telling people a story of me picking her up from kindergarten, and now she have a daughter. And it was like, wow. And I was talking with her daughter, and we took some pictures, and she was so, and then I showed her, I was like, I got pictures of you when you were a baby, because back on Snapchat, we used to do a lot of stuff on Snapchat. I was putting my baby niece on there. If it was Christmas, you could put the filters on there for Christmas. And it was like so much when she was born, because I remember when she was a little baby, right? So I showed her, she was laughing, and I was asking her what book she was reading. Very, very intelligent to be 4 years old. We were talking, and my mom was cooking. She cooked some ribs and macaroni and cheese, and I was able to sit and let my mom talk. And we were talking and eating. Well, I was doing much of the eating because I was hungry, and I ate. And I saw my little niece, and she was talking. And it was really, 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 really nice. So I was like, okay, mama. And I was over there for a good hour or two. And I left, and I said, I love y'all, and saw the niece. And it was a really, really a beautiful moment to see my mom and to see my niece and to see them. To see my sister, to see my grandmother. It was on that, because some of these people I haven't saw in a long time. So it was really, really nice. And some folks I couldn't see, because I got brothers that's in prison. Cook County Jail, another person that's in prison. I think he come home next year. So there's a lot of them I couldn't see, but it was great just to see them. The family members I did lay eyes on. It was just definitely a highlight of my life, to see that. And it was really great to see the city. It really made me say, if I ever do move back to Chicago, it won't be in the city. It will actually be like in the outskirts, in the suburbs, because everybody they're moving out of the city, and they moved to the suburb. And my granny, she's still in the city. But just seeing it, and I'm like, wow. And of course, my mind is different. I'm like, I was going about all these buildings. I was like, I want to buy this building, I want to buy that building, because I'm already having investment talk. I don't know what this new. I've never had these many discussions in my life, but in my mind, and I was just saying, I said, I'm going to get this build. I want to invest in this and get this. And then I saw this article of these two brothers in college went back to their hometown buying up apartment complex to bring in, and I said, that is something that I wanted. That's something that I will do in the future. Well, I will be able to go up and just buy up blocks in Inglewood, right? And get as much political capital up in there in the area, bring investments back in there, help bring funding in a hospital and all of that, help with childcare and everything else. So, that's pretty much where my mindset was at. And then I went back to the hotel, and I was able to think, and thank God, then of course the hotel thing was acting up again. So I had to move to another room, but it was okay. I didn't let that get to me, because I'm going to call them today. And I knew that I'm a new Wiley, and I'm a public figure, because you can't go on there being ignorant, because you are a public figure, and you got to be professional, because you just got to. You just can't be acting ignorant. So, and I've done that before, and it's very expensive to be being ignorant, right? Being ignorant costs you a lot. It's easy to be ignorant, but baby, it's a price that you're going to have to pay, and I'm paying that price every month. I'm paying it faithfully. But the Chicago trip was great. Then I packed my clothes, took a shower and everything. Then it was that Sunday. At first, I was going to do breakfast with Shantae. Then I heard that it was going to rain. I said, you know what? I'm going to have to postpone that and make a rain check on that. Then I could just do it for like next month. We can go out to eat or something. Because I was close to the hotel. Then the rental car, I didn't know how to take it back because I had to take it back to the airport. So I was nervous, like, is I'm be able to get the spot? You know, O'Hare is like a big airport. That's a massive airport. So I was able to find it. I was like, if I knew how easy it was just to pull up and do all that, I could have went on and went to Shantae's house. We could have ate and then went out. But I went to the hotel. I went to the airport, and I was at hours before my flight left. So I said, I need to find this bookstore to get another book because I need to read. So I'm looking for this bookstore. I can't find it. Then finally, I found the bookstore, and I saw a Chili's. So someone told me, just sit down and eat something because I haven't ate. And I sat down and I ate. And then I went to another terminal because the Spirit Airline, baby, everybody was there in that terminal. So I said, it's still early, so let me go to American Airlines where ain't so many people in their airline. So I sat down in the Spirit. I sat down there. I sat down in the Spirit. I sat down there, and then I just took me a good nap. First of all, I was reading that Mary Trump book. Really good, by the way, right? And it's good to the juicy, good part. And I slept, took me a good, nasty nap. Man, I got my bags pumped up and I just slept. But before I was able to sleep, I wish my phone was on. So this white lady missed her plane. Karen missed her plane. It was so funny. She got up there, she was crying, she was banging on the door. Oh my God, open up the door. And she was crying. I was laughing. I couldn't hold it. And she was looking at me with that ugly cry. Oh no. Oh, wait a minute. She had an ugly cry. And she was banging over the door. And she was crying. And she got on the phone, because she had a connected flight. And I felt bad for her because, you know, when you get them connected flights, they don't wait for you. If you miss it, you miss it. Because I had a connected flight when I was going to Florida. I was like, oh, I hope I don't miss it. But the plane was late, so it was a blessing because I don't like connected flight. I love a direct flight because, you know, when I got a direct, I don't like getting off the plane, going to get to another terminal, get on. I don't like them trained to. No, I love a direct flight, aisle seat and stuff. So she did that. Then on Spirit, one of my producers was saying, you know, you can get a seat in Spirit in the front, and you got to pay a couple of extra dollars, and you can get leg room. When I did that, that was like the best investment. I got there, space everywhere. You get a little table right there, and right there, I got me something to a Sprite, got me something to drink. Then I saw this family, this father. I saw a lot of stuff that I said, man, it's some great fathers. I just saw just some stuff, you know. It was really great. It was awesome. And I sat there. And guess who I saw on the plane? I saw two cast members of Chasing Dollars. One of them had the audacity to try to speak, and I ain't speak back. Because I'm like this. You talk a lot of trash about me on the internet. A lot of lies. Hey, Wiley. I act like I was reading my Mary Trump book. And then I felt bad. I reached out to him on the DM. I said, excuse me for my stank attitude. Because that wasn't right. That wasn't right. But I didn't speak. I had a nasty attitude. His friend I spoke to because I actually like him. He's cool. He didn't get into the gut. But this other person got into the mess. But then when he saw me, because we ain't taking no selfie. We ain't taking, I don't know why you pull your phone out, because we ain't taking no picture. We ain't taking no this. We ain't taking no, because I don't want people to think like we cool. Just like it was another blogger in Dallas. And they thought, hey, well, let's link up. No. We ain't linking up. We ain't going to be taking no selfie, because if you don't like me online, and the thing I told this brother, and I think he's dope to me, right? I think he okay to me, because I never had an issue with, he had an issue with me. I said no, because I said you're cool with Mr. Wiggins and stuff like that. And I don't want you to stop being cool with them if we take a picture and then they're going to think like you part of the ops. I know how these people think. So no, I'm not going to come and link up with you and see you because I don't want you to lose that opportunity with Amaya Wiggins and all of that. Stay on his side. If that's how you're going to grow your platform to say I stink and I'm trash and all that, stay right up over there. But I'm not going to give you the honor and the privilege to be in my presence. Not like that. No. So I didn't meet this person. I said, if you're cool with him, then you can't be cool with me because I know how these people think. I'm the type of brother like this. I'm going to be cool whoever I want to be cool with. But those people that you saw in Chicago, those are really my friends. Those are the people that know me in the struggle and know me forever. Like, especially like Jacquez. Like, he known me for like forever. And that's my friend. He mean the highs and lows. He understands me. He gets me. And that's why I understand that I probably won't have a lot of friends, like hundreds of friends. No. It's going to be a selective few that I'm having in my life that understands me. And he gets me, right? And we talk and he understands me. He gets me. And I am messy. That ain't going to change. I shade everybody. And it was actually worse than when I was in Chicago. Coming up, I'm very mild now. I know how to be mainstream messy than gutter messy. Now, all of that was going on, so I had a good day. Then I get back to Dallas. I take me a shower, put on my air mattress, go to bed. I get a phone call from a producer. That's in Atlanta. I was in the bed. Yeah, Wiley, I'm in Atlanta, and I see Amaya Wiggins and his boyfriend, and I see him and Candace, and I'm like, oh, okay. You got any video? I'ma see the video. I'm like, okay. And mind you, I'm sleepy talking. I'm like, did somebody just say they just saw Amaya Wiggins in Atlanta? So I wake up to my emails, and I saw a video. And this producer sent me this video, and I laughed. And I said, this the boyfriend, he look kind of good. And of course, I talk to myself like I'm having a production meeting. So I'm pretty much having a production meeting with my voices in my head. So I'm laughing. I'm like, and then one of my voices in my head said, you need to lay off of the boyfriend because he looks good. And then we all agreed in my head, he looks good. So while I lay off the boyfriend, don't press the gas on the boyfriend because he looks good. And then he get another video. I haven't dropped that video. Just you see Candace and Amaya Wiggins walking. And of course, it ain't really a good shot, but it's a shot I'm going to release it on my IG. And I knew what people are going to say because some of them, they're going to say, Wiley, you're hating on Amaya because I know what people are going to say. But this is what it is. It was funny. He's a celebrity. He's a public figure. And I think it's more entertaining for us to go back and forward. It's just entertaining because it's not malicious intent and it makes him look good. It makes Wiley look good, right? So he sent the video and he sent another video and I already knew it. I'm going to get dragged. I just knew it. But don't act as though that I'm sending, producers sends it to me. And me, I'm just not delivering yet. I'm just going to talk mess. Now, is that going to stop me from being friends with certain people? Yes. But at least that my audience are entertained because I don't work well with being fake and say, oh, I want to be friends with this person. I can't. If I do that and have that theory, it won't be nobody I'll be able to do commentary with. Cardi B, I ain't going to be able to say what I want to say about her. I ain't going to be able to say nothing about Tasha. If I want to be friends with these people, a lot of stuff, I'm just have to be silent. There's going to be some days that I say something that's going to step on some toes. And all of that. And then me and my publicist, we came out with a message. And she wrote, my publicist and I, it was very beautiful what she came up with. And I want to read that. I want to read it. Give me a second. Let me Let me go to it because I pinned that comment. And this is what we came up with. Peace is only a piece of it. Making peace with Ahmaud Wiggins publicly has brought on a lot of emotion and confusion for some cross supporters. To clarify on my end, making peace with Ahmaud is only a fragment of what is needed in our journey of healing. Making peace with Ahmaud does not mean that I will start reviewing him or his show when in the spotlight. Making peace with Ahmaud does not mean I will stop sharing my opinions on his public involvement. Making peace is only a small piece, the beginning to full healing. Judging by the common feedback, I think some folks expected a full healing and reunion. The type that we pick up where we left off when we were on better terms. As I mentioned in my live today, Ahmaud and I cannot be genuine friends or associates until we can hash out our differences, understand one another better, and fix the brokenness. With time, we continue to take a few steps forward, no leaps, just steps forward. My job is to report and review public figures, popular shows, interesting headliners, to name a few. Ahmaud will fall into these category at times. I'm dedicated to providing good quality reviews with a comedic spin while maintaining respect and integrity. Hopefully, this clarification helps those who wanted to understand my stance better. Thanks to the producers, we have reached out and offered advice, constructive criticism, constructive praise, and comments of support. I'm truly touched that you care enough to see this work out. Respectfully. So that is what it is. And I'm going to always have commentary. And we were talking, and we're going to open up the phone lines. And I said, he thought that, and you got to be crazy if he thought that I'm just going to sit here and not give commentary on you because you're a public figure. I can't stop. And while we were in the airport, it is people that are already bringing back videos to tarnish my name and all of that. And you know what? I can't be mad about it. I can't be upset about it into the sense that, don't do it because I'm a public figure, meaning that you're open for people to lie on you, go to talk trash about you. It is what it is. Only going to get worse. The bigger I become, the more the opposition, the more what people criticize Wiley. It is what it is. You can't stop it. You can't control it. It's like you can't. You can send out a cease and desist. You can get a lawyer. You can get, unless you get a judge to get an injunction, get a restraining order, they going to do the talking. They going to keep talking about it. They going to keep trashing you. It is what it is. And people is so concerned about Wiley. They said we were banned from Chicago. That was a lie. They said, he can't be around his grandmother. They want to be a reporter, and you can just Google these documents, public record, right? And they just so dumb. They don't even know how to look and research and crack stories. So I'm just listening to these people just talk. I'm with my family, with my niece, with my mother, and with all of this type. And I'm like, all this stuff is going on, and I'm just laughing because I said I am a public figure, and I keep saying that because it is true, because I have people, hundreds of people that watch it, and then I felt bad. I used to feel bad. I'm about to say this. I'm not worried about the mess, because while these people started things up, baby, you're going to see my documentary drop, my book drop. It's going to raise my public persona. That's what it's going to do. But I'm hearing all of this stuff going on about Wiley. And I used to feel so bad because I see these people with thousands of people in their chat. It used to make me feel, I said, how are these people getting it? It is sites that you can go on to purchase live viewers. I didn't want to believe it. I said, you can't purchase live viewers. And so a producer said, Wiley, I know somebody that have purchased live view. I'm not going to say no names. So we went over there. And that producer said, you see how many thousands are in this person chat? Look how many people in the comment. 4 people in the comments. So I went on this person Facebook. They had 1 person watching. 5 people in the comments. Over 1,000 people watching this particular person. And I'm just looking. I said, this is not add up. I said, because you can buy it. And I said, I don't feel bad that I have 200 some odd people watching. It's because that's organically. I don't want to have to spend $49.95 or $300, $400 just to get 1,000 people in my chat, because I didn't get that on my own. I paid for that. So no. Now, when I get to 1,000, let me drink a little bit more of this. When I get to 1,000 and pay you get to 1,000 people to watch, I'm gonna really jump for joy because I work for that 1,000. I work for that 1.8 thousand. I work for that 2.000. It's gonna be that I work for it versus me purchasing it, right? So I stopped feeling bad, and once I saw how the game worked, how some of these YouTubers are playing that game, they are buying it and all of that. A lot of these people are, buying these views. And I'm like, I don't feel bad. I literally don't feel bad. I used to feel a lot of bad, but once I found out the game is, and then, and then it was like, why don't you just buy it? Well, I said, no, number one, I don't have the income to be buying views. I would just continue. I love my audience. It is what it is, and it's great, and it's awesome. And so I'm not going to necessarily buy views. And another thing too, I'm not going to be accusing bloggers of buying views, because when we get to 1,000, people are going to say, oh, Wiley, buying views. No, I don't want to open that up. So I'm skeptical of saying that Tasha K buys views, because when I get to that level and beyond, I don't want people saying it about me. So I got to be careful without no evidence and no proof. But one particular person, I saw it and I said, you got to be buying that. Got to. And we saw it. And then the person was showing me sites and showing me places that you can buy this stuff. And I said, no, thank you. We're not going to be buying no views over here. What you see over here is organically. We're not going to be buying subscribers. What you see, it is organically. Almost the 12,000 folks we got, we worked our behind off for these folks. It is what it is. We worked our behind for 12. When we get to 20K, that means we have worked our behind off for the 20K. When we reach 10,000 subscribers, we worked our hard work. We worked our behind off for those people. And when I'm able to go see people in person that view the show, and we are popping and we have a lot of influence, and we don't have the numbers, but they be Wiley, Wiley, yeah, Wiley Show. Oh, cockeyed, the one with the cockeyed. Oh, Wiley, he messy. Oh, I can't stand Wiley. He is so my name rings. So, the name is there. These bigger YouTubers, let Wiley say something. They'll be right there to respond, because my name and my influence is powerful. And I have an organic base, a strong base, right? And I'm dedicated to my audience. Just like yesterday, one of the producers wanted my Robinhood thing to get the stock. And we were talking about that. Now, mind you, we're not at 1,000 some people, but the conversations that we're having is so organic and so powerful that people had invested in Apple. About over 10 people that I've known personally have purchased over 5 or 10 stocks in Apple based on the conversation on the Wiley Show. Based on this show, folks have purchased Apple stock and showing me the receipts of them purchasing the stock. Based on the conversation, people have gotten a Robinhood account. They didn't even were doing it. They have started doing it because they saw me doing it and having that conversation, and that's a lot of power. And I thank God for that type of influence, right? For the good, because that's helping you to open up doors and investments for your family. So I think that's dope. I have a certain, you grow, you better speak, right? And people see the growth in Wiley. You all see the growth. Some people like Jaquez, he can give you a better or testimony, because he saw the growth of me going to house parties with my phone. I mean, not with the phone, with the little cameras, the little digital camera. I'll be up there interviewing people. He see the growth. And so I necessarily doesn't see it because I'm working and I'm remaining humble, and I don't get the big head, right? Because I'm always working. But to sit down and to see people, in person and that watch the show, it's just an amazing experience. I would never forget it. Like seeing that in Chicago was amazing. Reaching out, saying happy birthday to somebody that live in Canada that watched the show, getting emails from people from the UK that watches the Wiley Show. That to me is amazing. And I look at those emails, even the emails that drag me, I appreciate them too, because they are still yet viewers. Because in order for you to criticize the show, you have to watch it. And a lot of people come over here and they do it. And one person reached out and said, even though, Wiley, I can't stand you, but at least you allow me to express how I feel about your show. You don't make me feel unwelcome. It's the people that have dragged me forever. And then when they see me in person, Wiley, I'm sorry I did that. Or you cool, etc. I've met some people like that. I'm going to continue to grow. If they start out buying follow on Twitter, I know they're buying live followers now. And people are yet buying it. Yes, yes, yes. And people on the Wiley Show is just organic over here. It's really, really organic. And we bring it back to praise break and all that type of stuff. But, it's really great. You're going to see me beat it with bigger YouTubers. It's going to happen because I don't get it twisted. It be people that do reach out to Wiley to link up. It was some folks that folks have linked up with that I was supposed to link up with them first, right? It is what it is. But one thing that I'm learning, that you got to be strong to link up with Wiley. You can't be weak. You can't be weak. You got to be strong, because when you go back to your crew, they're going to drag you. And if you're not willing to be that, don't link up with me, because don't blame me that you getting dragged. And that's why I don't link up with everybody. I don't do it. When you come to my city, keep that same energy that you don't like, because don't come over there and link up before yourself and then you go over there and because they're going to drag you. They're not going to like it. You think these people don't care? Link up with Wiley and see how they treat you. Come over here and take a picture with Wiley, or come on my show and we link up and we embrace it and laughing. Watch how they treat you on the other side. They're going to say you part of the uppity ops. Just watch it. I've known some folks that are just a sweet offline, but when they get on camera, because they don't want to lose that friendship, they will drag me for filth. And I say this, drag me. Do your business. Drag me all day long, because I understand business. If you want to be invited to the dinner, to the Thanksgiving dinner, then drag Wiley. You can build your platform off of me. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. And I've seen it happen. It's some people that be in my DM, be showing me love, but they can't come in this chat. I'm talking about big YouTubers. Big, gigantic YouTubers. They'll be in that DM. Hey, Wiley, how you doing? What it is? And they'll be laughing. I love your show. But they ain't going to jump up out that chat, because you got to be strong. Because soon they jump out that chat. You watch Wiley. You ain't going to send me no big old gigantic super chat, because then your love going to be questioned on the other side, because you got to be strong over here. You got to be strong. With me, I do have people in the industry that I am cool with. I'm not going to say that I'm not cool with people in the industry. I have some friends that you would be shocked of the people that I do talk to on the consistent basis. But I don't want to have these friendships and I got to be restricted on what I can and cannot say. I want to be self-made, built from the ground up. It is, and I dang on sure don't want to team up with somebody and they get me the followers because they're going to use, well, you only got that because of me. I want to have it. I got it because I put the work in. I put the time in. It is what it is. And now I'm in a predicament now that some people want to link up with me for clout. They're because you can get clout off of Wiley name now. Contrary to popular belief. But now I'm like, I'm too busy building my show. I'm very selective on who I go on chats, which shows I go on, because now I understand the influence and the power that I consume. There's only a couple of bloggers that I will go into to their chats, but most of the time I'm building my own show because I want to be more exclusive. I don't want to be everywhere. Used to, I go everybody chat, and it made me no different. Now I'm busy building up my own platform. Right, got your own, and people come over here and all that. They be loving Wiley, and they'll drag me because they don't want to lose that friendship. Because Ahmad Wiggins is very, very popular, and he's attractive. And you think that, and some people gonna be highly disappointed because they're not gonna be brought up. And I can't wait because I'm gonna laugh. They think that this is the train that's gonna get me there. And I always tell people, you better have your own show and stay committed to your own show. Okay? Now, when you get on that train, they don't get you your destination. And if I get there, don't try to say, oh, Wiley, what about me? What about you? What about you? Stay where you at. Stay over there, over yonder. That's what it be. Go over there without your mask in a crowded crowd without a mask. Stay right over there. Hope you don't come, stay right over there. I'm right here. So I'm hearing all this stuff and all this type of stuff, and people's like, "Well, Wiley, are you doing the show?" And such and such is linking up with such. I said, "Child, if I really want to be petty, I could have linked up with Tasha K. Okay, that to be if I really want to be petty, I could have went on and linked up with Tasha, and we could have linked up and have a good old time. And even not just Tasha K. I'm really cool with Michelle ATL. I could have linked up with her. I could have. But my thing is this, in due time, it'd be great. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather link up with my family because at the end of the day, that's what counts. Because my family is a big part of my platform because I talk about them more than I talk about anybody else. My mom, my granny, my sisters, my brother, everything. I'm very transparent in what I talk about, especially when it comes to my family. This show, you gonna get a show over here, and that is what that is over here at the Wiley Show, right? So when people say all your content is about one person, you lie. Now my mama could get on here, and she could say you talk about me all the time because I talk about her all the time on the Wiley Show. But guess what? That's my mama. And I know her more than I know any of y'all. So I can talk about her and my experience. And that's what I'm going to do. And I talk about her ever. And that ain't going to change. I'll be talking her on the stage and stuff. She ain't going to like it at first. I know she ain't going to like it. She better not click on here and watch it. But she ain't going to refuse them checks. Now, they ain't talking about me now. Let one of them big dollars come in. Let the big checks come. I'm talking about the big fat checks. You might can't stand me, but you ain't gonna refuse that offering. You ain't gonna refuse that. You might think I'm garbage, but let that big check come in that offering basket. You ain't gonna refuse that offering. You can say whatever else you want to say about him. You ain't gonna refuse that offering, that big fat check. I may not be welcome to come up into that church, but when that check comes, you ain't gonna refuse it. I'm over that big fat with them zero. And that one of my staff members bring it. Because when you got money, you can just deposit in people's account. When you really got money, you can just deposit in their account. Oh, they ain't gonna refuse that check. He might be messy, but he sure got the money. Babe, we big gave our subscriber a day. I call my subscriber the producers, and they really are the producers. So the number is open 646-716-8447. That is the number 646-716-8447. They ain't gonna refuse that. They can say whatever else. And watch all these family members. Wait till when I really get the money. Watch how this phone gonna be ringing. Hello, can I speak to Marquise? This is his auntie. Auntie ain't speaking decades. Let that money come. Watch how this phone gonna be. Everybody gonna be calling. I'm just gonna let you know I had to get surgery, and it's gonna cost about $80,000 and stuff like that. And I know I ain't talked to you in a long. Hey, they're gonna be just calling me. Folks, I ain't speaking decades. They're gonna find that up at that time. Baby, cousins I ain't seen in decades. Cousins that cuss me out. That say they can't stand me, sure gonna be reaching out for that phone number. Brothers that's in prison that couldn't stand my guts, call me so many F words as well. They show you have a collect call from such and such. Do you accept the charges? And of course I'm gonna accept the charges because they my family. I ain't gonna sit here and say I ain't gonna do it. They my love or they my family. I'm gonna accept the charges and put money on their books, you know. I'm gonna accept the charges. Oh, I can just imagine. I can just imagine. Let's go to the phone lines. Anonymous, you live on the air.
Hello, Wiley.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. How are you doing today?
Blessed.
Just going in.
Doing good. How you doing?
I don't know why I can't hear you. Hello?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I'm calling in about the Cardi B and the Candace situation.
Yeah.
Now, for the people that be here all the time, I'm sure y'all can I call in all the time. I'm a supporter of Cardi B. I love Cardi B. Yes, pro Cardi B. But for this situation, Candace made her look like a fool. Well, actually, Cardi made herself look like a fool. I don't think that she should be, because usually I'm with her when, she's pushing for people to vote. But the things that she was posting on her page was a lie. When she had Angela Stanton picture and all the black people that was actually praying for Trump because of, the things that he's doing is ruffling a lot of feathers. So they was actually praying for him, not bowing down for him. So I think that was wrong of her to do. Candace, I don't really like Candace Owens or whatever her name is. But on that topic, I agree with her 1,000%. 1,000%. Did you get that post I had sent you through the DM?
What post was that?
The one for Donald Trump.
You said a one for Donald Trump?
Yeah, the one where he denounced the KKK and actually called them evil people.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I did see that. Even if you had then I did see that. But both of them, like I said, got their ways that they need to work on. But go ahead.
Of course. Both of them are dirty. It just depends on what side of dirt you want to be on. And I can understand, why people might call Donald Trump dirty, but back up in the day, up in the 90s, that's when he was building all those buildings up in New York, the Marlboro and those. So you had to be dirty back up in them days. But do I think he's got a good heart? Yes, I do think he has a good heart. I'm pro-Trump. Yes, I am. And I was with you when you was like, oh, you had voted for him for the preliminaries, but then when, he got up in office, he let you down. I'm sorry that he let you down, but now he's showing you the pushback that he was getting from these Democratic states. Let's just be honest. Now, you see, he's asking her, if you need my help, I'm here. I was sending the people, no, don't you do that. You causing more damage, but yet they cities are getting burned down. And at the end of the day, they just push all this back on Donald Trump when he's literally saying, hey, I just told y'all that I'm going to help. And now people are saying too little, too late. How? If he's been trying to help from the beginning, but they didn't want him to help. And then, okay, so I know y'all call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but do you remember when that whole tweet, remember when the news media, which was just over the weekend, they were stating how Trump had called the military, those names or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let me backtrack. The day before that happened, Trump had put out a tweet saying the swamp will be drained within the next 30 to 60 days. I don't know if y'all seen that tweet. Now, meaning, you remember back in 2019 when those indictments had went out towards the end of 2019, and then a lot of people started stepping down. The CEOs and people was wondering why they stepping down. Well, this is the reason why they were stepping down, because when it's time for them to go to Guantanamo Bay, they didn't want it to be as big as it would if they would still be the CEO. So I think that it's funny. The day before, when Trump put out that tweet saying the swamp will be drained, the very next day, now they came up with this fake news of him criticizing the military veterans and stuff like that. But the person that they said that he criticized actually did a post. I don't know why that one is not as viral as the other one. And instead of him just doing a post and just voice or just typing, he went on as himself, did a video showing himself so people can knew it was him. And he said, I don't know why y'all are lying on me. I don't know why y'all making me the face of this. But Trump did not say that. So he even denounced the lies that they are trying to say. And a lot of people don't know that because it's not as viral as them lying saying that. Anyway,
All right.
or whatever.
Well,
now, I can understand, the hate, and I think that it's sad that people have the amount of hate in their hearts that they do, because if they looked at things as open-minded, and not so much hate, then it would be a better world. It would be a better place. And also, I think, because a lot of people are saying racism, and all this other kind of crap. But at the end of the day, a lot of, blacks and, let's be honest, racist. It is what it is. A lot, if you think about it, because with the BLM, the Antifa, they are out here saying they are peacefully protesting, but they are destroying their own city. Actually, someone else's cities, because they travel in from other places. But they are destroying these people's cities only to make one person look bad. I don't know, does that make sense to you or no?
I hear you. I hear you. I don't always agree because I'm more so looking at the locals and looking at how Chicago is and et cetera like that. But this is my last one because I'm going to go to this next caller because we got two other callers. Whoever you support, that's who y'all support. I'm more so looking at the current condition of the area that I grew up in, also looking at the poor areas in Texas. Poor people are suffering. And I'm looking for an administration, whoever it may be, Trump or Biden. What are you going to do to help poor people to be able to get good quality jobs, to be able to live in good quality homes, and to get the homeless off the street? So I'm more so looking at how are you going to treat poor people and also middle class and to help rebuild middle class. But what are you going to do for poor people? And so that's more so I'm looking at, especially.
Trump had already signed the bill, but Trump had already signed the bill that actually rebuilds the lower class communities, like, Baltimore. He literally signed out to rebuild those communities. So I'm confused.
Yeah, because Baltimore still run down.
Want people to help or do y'all?
Exactly. And if that's the case, then these areas should not be looking the way that it's looking in Baltimore as well in Chicago, because a Republican is actually running in Baltimore, in West Baltimore, I believe, and it is run down. And it's been that way for decades, even before Trump even got into office. So I'm not going to just blame Trump all over, but because this is before Trump, this was under Obama administration. I'll even go back to Clinton or whomever. We need investments in these poor Black and brown areas. And we just don't need lip service because now we need investments instead of lip service. But thank you, sister. I'm going to go to these next two callers.
Hold on, Wiley. Before you give me a phone, let me just say something. I think that the housing is actually hurting Black people. I think that the welfare is hurting Black people. And I think that, if anything, we need to get our people off of those type of things or have it to where you can only be on it for a certain amount of time. And that's to better yourself, to do better. Because as long the way I think about it is, let's just say, okay, let me just put this out here. If people are always dependent on the government, food stamp, housing, medical, every single thing, what happens one day if the government just snatch it? Then then what will happen?
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm gonna speak on this. I'm gonna speak on this piece, and I'm gonna go to these next three callers. Even when it comes to government assistance, I don't speak against it because wealthy people, and they call it subsidies. So we should not just target poor people because you need food stamps, you need welfare, because now people are losing their jobs, and if you lost your job, you need how you're going to eat, how you're going to feed your families. I think that it needs to be for those type cases, not for you to be dependent upon those programs. But even so, even if you're dependent on food stamps, I shouldn't criticize you so much when the wealthy, when the wealthy depends upon, when the wealthy depends upon these subsidies, when these programs, even when you go back to Trump's father and how he was able to get these government contracts and get it from the government to build these homes up, and he get these low interest loans, right? That's a subsidy. That's part of welfare to help those developers. But we're not criticizing them for taking advantage of these government programs. But when we talk about government programs, we always go towards wealthy. We always go towards the poor folks on food stamps. But we rarely ever go toward these government subsidies programs that are there to keep the wealthy wealthy, keep the rich rich. We never, hardly ever bring that up.
No. I have to disagree with you. Like, I can understand for people with disabilities, yes, if it's a disability, then yes. But if you have women out here or men out here that's on housing, on food stamps, they do not work, comfortably just living at home, just doing drugs and stuff like that. No, that should not be happening because a lot of people's tax dollars are basically condoning it. And that's not right. That's all I'm saying. While you have people out here that's struggling, that have jobs, trying to get to the next level, but the government is kicking them off of those things just because they have
all right,
jobs.
I'm going to go to these next three.
People that don't have any.
Okay, thank you, sister. I'm going to go to these next three callers. All right, I'm going to go to the next caller. 4429, caller, on the air.
Okay, I want to, good morning, Wiley.
Good morning.
Great to have you back. Well, you never really left. You was working. But I want to say to this lady that keeps calling me, she a Trump supporter. Number one, do she recognize the signs of mental illness? And when you do not take care of your mental illness, what happens? That you cross over into insanity, okay? Do she recognize that this man got some kind of learning disability? He only can use like 4 or 5 different adjectives, okay? Do she condone him building a wall to keep people out of this country? I understand that you have to have border control, but Obama had border control. They was going in and getting people out that were illegal, but he wasn't making it a hate, okay? Do she realize that the Secretary of Education that he put in office was worse, made education worse? She came from Michigan. Look up her record. She was trying to tear the city schools down and not fund them. And her family owned some type of educational thing. Does she understand that Black Lives Matter is not racism? Black Lives Matter was born out of police brutality. It don't have nothing to do with racism. Black Lives Matter is an organization that is against police brutality. That is not racism. Does she know what the definition of racism is? Does she understand that welfare has been reformed? That you cannot just stay on welfare. They make you go and get
a job,
training and stuff.
especially in Texas. Like when I got on food stamps in Texas, I was on there for a very limited time. I lost my job, and they was like, you could be on there for a month, but you have to be out looking for a job to keep it. But I had got another job, so it's not just like it was. I can speak for it in Texas, and I got it. But it's like rules that they give you.
The welfare system through the Clinton administration, and they changed the program, and now she have a master's of education. She did not stay on there. Do she understand that most people that's on welfare is not black, and they vote against their own interests? Do she know that Trump is trying to stop health care that Obama had? Nothing is perfect, but at least he put some kind of health care in place. Do she understand that it's a real virus out there that's killing people, and he has done nothing about it, and he got rid of the top infectious disease scientist in the world that has an MD and PhD? He is not part of no deep state. Dr. Fauci been doing research for years. I used to work in NIH. Stop the foolishness. You can be a Republican, you could be a Democrat, you can be independent, you could be dog, cat, mouse. But stop the foolishness. Now, do she want Trump to come and visit her? God forbid, if somebody in her family is shot in the back 7 times, somebody put their knee on their neck, okay, or smother them to death. Do she want Trump to come and see her? Because he's not. He's going to go see the other people that's in there when the people are marching, that's down there running people over and shooting at them.
All right.
People need to stop talking about something that they don't even know about. Then make it make sense. She don't know nothing about the welfare system because obviously, thank God, if she ain't had to be on it. Because if she was on it, she knew that she could not stay on it.
Every time I've been on it, and when I moved to Texas, it was like a month, and I always had a job. But I thank God that those, because I used to think like that, get off that welfare. But when I had to get on it, I was like, okay, it's there for people that fall on hard times, and it's a program to assist you. It's not a program for you to be dependent on it, right? But I thank God that it's there. And I never criticize the people that's even on it. Because now, because you have wealthy people that get subsidies, and look at the farmers, they're getting some parts of, low interest rate loans or getting free money. And that's part of welfare because of what was going on with the tariffs and with China and stuff. And it pretty much, hurt the farming community, the farming industry. So the Trump administration had to pretty much give farmers welfare for them to survive. Right. But no one is calling that out.
Say they are pro-Trump.
Right.
Do they understand what narcissism is? Not just people saying, oh, somebody I dated, they a narcissist. I'm talking about a true narcissist sociopath. Do they really know what it is? Go read about it. Go talk to a psychiatrist or a psychologist that can explain it to you. While you pro-Trump, Trump don't give a goddamn about you. He just threw the postmaster under the bus. His lawyer went to jail. Now he writing a book about he don't care about nobody but himself. Mm-hmm. Why they out here talking about they pro-Trump? Now I can see if it was okay, you had Reagan or somebody like that, but and you a Republican, fine, be a Republican. But this is past political affiliation. You got somebody that's in office, insane, who wants this to be a dictatorship. And if he get out of office, it's gonna be hell to get him out the White House.
It ain't gonna be hell. They're gonna easily escort him out of there.
He think he Kim Jong-un. He think he like the Russia dictatorship. Mm-hmm. That's what he think. He don't listen to none of his expert advisors. He don't listen to nobody. That's why they have so much turnaround. Nobody can stay with him. Even the Fox people said how crazy he was. I don't like to use the word crazy, but how insane he is. He got multiple issues.
All right. I feel you on that.
And we shouldn't even have all these political affiliations. What we should have is humanity for one another.
Thank you so much for calling in. This was great.
Okay.
Bye-bye. The number is 646-716-8447. We're going to go to the next caller, 2041. Caller, you on the air.
Hi, Wiley. How are you doing?
All right.
I'm glad you enjoyed your trip to Chicago, that it was successful, and that you're back safely. That's basically all I wanted to say. I was smiling when you were telling the story about meeting with your grandmother and your niece. I know how important family is, and I also know how it feels to be isolated, from family, be it distance and all. And that's just it, because I'm going to talk about any political stuff because I'm currently working and I can't do that anyway. I'm going to lose my job. I'm just happy for you. You did a good job on those interviews that you presented. Just happy for you and proud of you. And I want you to continue taking care of yourself, okay?
Amen. Thank you, sister.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 1922. Call you on the air. 1922.
Hello, Wiley. This is Miss T. How you doing?
All right, Miss T. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm so glad you enjoyed your trip in Chicago, even though I was like trolling you all those weekends. I'm like, where's Wiley? Oh my God, where's Wiley?
I was very active on Patreon. Right, I was very active over there. I was very active on Patreon about it, but publicly I wasn't. But yeah, I was in Chicago.
Yeah, well, when I tried to do Patreon, it didn't work for me.
Okay.
I don't know. It was one night when it was like some me music was playing, and after that night, I just was like, okay, this is not working for me.
Oh Lord.
Okay, so I'm gonna try Patreon again.
Yes, ma'am. And if you have any issues, just send me an email and I'll help you if you need help.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But go ahead.
So I have two things to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the first caller, who's a pro-Trump, I'm not even going to even make it a comment towards what she want to be. If that's what she is, that's what she is. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm independent. I love my money. So if the Republicans want to make something that's going to help me benefit myself to be an entrepreneur, because that's what I am, I'm going to pick the best, for that. Democrat, it doesn't matter for me. But she made a statement that she think only people need to be on welfare are people that are disabled. In my understanding,
yes, ma'am.
I feel like Black people living in America is like being disabled. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely, we are allowed to get this welfare. Welfare was not formed for Black communities or poor people of the Black race or minority. Welfare first started out as to help poor white people. And it wasn't until some of these segregation laws started changing that we were able to reap the benefits of welfare, because we was not even aware that welfare existed. Did you know that part?
I hear you.
That welfare started, it wasn't for minority Blacks or minorities.
I can imagine, yeah.
It was for poor white people that couldn't sustain themselves. And then when segregation and all these equal rights start coming out, that's when we found out that these things actually existed. And that's when we fought to say, okay, we are deserving of these things as well. Because at the end of the day, we're the ones less fortunate than the white people that were not as fortunate. You understand?
Right.
Okay. So the whole Black diaspora in America is crazy, and I think that we're making steps towards change. It's going to take one step at a time. We want to take leaps, but realistically, we're not going to be able to take leaps. We're going to have to continue to appreciate each step that we make towards not just for the equality of Black people, because I don't believe Black people want to reign supreme over no one.
Right.
We just want equality for everyone. You know what I'm saying? That's not, we don't want to be the rulers. We don't want to take the white man's supremacy spot.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want anyone to feel like they're supreme over anybody. We just want everyone to have a fair opportunity. And that's what it is at the end of the day. Now, my second topic, it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It has something to do with just you, Wiley, and what you have been talking about, because I am a producer and I'm always on your show. I've always heard you say, and I've always wanted to bring this topic up, but I always forget. By the time I hang up, I'm like, oh, I forgot to talk about it. But anyway, I'm going to talk about it today. You say you want to be a stand-up comedian, right? Or a sit-down comedian, or, you know, you want to be a stand-up comedian, right? And you say you want to know how you do to get by to start doing that. Am I correct or am I wrong?
I do correct on that. Go ahead.
Okay. So I've also started doing stand-up comedy. And I just want to give you some tips that I've started doing to help you try to figure out how you can start just stepping your foot out onto it so you can get a real feel for what it feels like to be on stage in front of groups of people. What I've been doing is I started going to, like, you know, you have these clubs in your area, and sometimes they have comedy nights. You understand? And in these comedy nights, they're normally free. You know, you can come to a sports bar, you're free, and it's a comedy show. And the host of that comedy show, all you have to do is go up to that person and tell them, I want to get on stage. They don't care if you're an amateur or if you're seasoned or anything. And that will allow you to start getting a little experience on stand-up comedy. You understand?
Yes, I feel you.
Okay. So I just want to throw that little tip out for you if you're really serious about being a comedian, because you have me gagging. I'm gagging, okay? So I really want you to pursue that, you know, to try and see what it feels like to be on the stage and do your comedy and everything like that. I'm not going to hold your show up. And I just want to say hello again. Hello, all the producers. And y'all continue to enjoy the Wiley Show.
Thank you so much, sister, for calling in. All right.
Okay, ciao, ciao.
Thank you. The number is 646-716-8447. Okay. Somebody said, do I have a favorite comedian? Oh my gosh, Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac, baby. Who you with? Bernie Mac, baby. Bernie Mac is my favorite comedian. Oh, Bernie Mac. This is insane. Bernie Mac is my favorite comedian, but I agree with what that caller said. Yes, you should go for doing stand-up. But my transition, my road to doing it is going to be a little bit different. I will just, when we're able to travel more, like if I do a meet and greet in this city and say, hey, y'all, we're going to be here, we're going to be there, so I can understand my comedy. I will be getting on that stage one day and actually doing it because, yeah, man, I hear you. I hear you because I make people laugh every day. And it's nothing like getting on that stage and being around your people. And I just can't wait. You know what I'm saying? Get my cold water and get on that stage and just talk with the people. Can't wait when I able to talk with my folks. And I can't wait. It's going to be dope. I think that's going to be awesome. And whenever we're able to really travel and to get around, it's going to be dope. So let me answer these two callers, and we're going to get into it because the callers are calling in. 1352 calling on the air. Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Hi. This is in reference to Cardi B and Candace Owens. Now, Candace Owens, I will give her a prop. She is very smart. She's educated. I get it. Cardi B was no match for her. Now, the thing is, yeah, Cardi B does need to stay in her lane because she slayed her. She slayed her. And the thing is, when Candace Owens, she was not invited to dinner for the RNC. And that should let her know that you are only serving a certain purpose for a little while. And once that moment is up, you are up too. Just like I'm a roaster. You know, you served your purpose. Now we don't need you anymore. Call it girl. And another thing is, everyone is against Joe Biden. Yeah, he did sign that bill, but guess what? It took an act of Congress. You know? Also, this wasn't just him, but everyone seems to want to hit Joe Biden in the head. He made a mistake. But what Donald Trump is doing is forgiving all these persons who committed those crimes back in the day. Yeah, at that time, you were right. Some people were hit hard in the head for like nonviolent offending offenses.
Mm-hmm.
But you said that it was out of control. It was like New Jack City era. You know what I mean?
It really was.
Were out of control. They were out of control. But people seem to forget. Don't get caught up in Donald Trump finding these forgiveness. I can't even think of the word right now, but it's on the top of my tongue in reference to forgiving. And think about this. Has he forgiven any white people when, I forget the word, I can't remember, but he is doing this. At one point, he's saying that Joe Biden is a weak on crime, but at the same time, he signed that bill to put people in jail. And then he says, well, guess what? He puts the black people in jail. Well, which one is it? Is he weak on crime? Or is he, strong on crime? I don't know. And he is really confusing the black people by, he's sending up mixed messages. He wants this confusion. And I like what the previous caller has said about, one, we do have to have an open mind. You can have your opinion about Trump, but he has caused this racial divide that is so uncomfortable at this point, just, like going outside, going to Lowe's or Home Depot. Someone actually threw a whole thing. It was maybe I don't know if it was a gallon of cleaner, antibacterial cleaner. And it was another girl out there. She ran towards me, like, are you okay? Are you okay? But she saw and realized everything that was happening before me. He is showing he's not showing, everyone else is showing their racism towards us. And the lack of care and concern this man is inciting. So instead of everyone just focusing on what he wants you to focus on, Joe Biden and Kamala putting people in jail, let's think about what he's going to do in the next 4 years coming. What happened to building the wall? He makes all these promises, but really can't deliver on those promises. So I think with your platform, and I love listening to you because I actually found you, really started listening to you. I love the things that you say. You're articulate, you get your point across. And right now, I might be all over the place with my thoughts, but at the end of the day, make the right decision.
Facts.
Make the right decision.
But also, too, I'm understanding that some people are supportive of Trump because you got to ask them, what is their economic status? Some economically feels as though Trump policies have been great for them as an entrepreneur, as an investor in the stock market. And some believe that. But what I would hope that people go out to vote. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're Democrat, whether you're Republican, whether you're independent, and really vote for whoever's going to do great for your community, for your family, for your neighborhood, etc. But just go out and vote, and not just vote, but also participate by calling the politician office and making sure that they're doing what they were campaigning on, to make sure they do that as well. And that's something that us as a community, as Black America, needs to do a better job making sure, because like when we say Black Lives Matter, when we say that, we have to continue to let the politicians know that make policies and drill that in their hearts that Black lives do matter, and that make sure that policies are in place to make sure that police officers are held accountable and not just go into the ballot box, but also make a trip down to City Hall, make a trip down to the state capitol, make a trip down to the Washington, D.C., and let it be known that we haven't forgot about you. Are you making sure they doing their job? And if they don't, stay on them. And if they don't, vote them out. So that's the process, and that's the message that I'm preaching. Whether you support Trump, whether you support Biden, whomever you support, make sure that you are actively involved and getting engaged when it comes to when it comes to the political front. Because like I said, politics affect us every day. It affects us when you do a show, that's politics. When you buy a hat, everything that this world, we live in a political, environment, and I don't care where you go, you will be affected by some decision that a politician have made about you.
Well, and another thing is, you are so right, because it starts at home. Voting starts at home at your local level, because eventually your local mayor is going to run for governor, and that governor is going to run for president. So people don't understand that it starts at home, not at the federal. You have your judicial. You go from judicial to executive. So you have an in between, but we have to vote. We have to start at home, because we are the ones who make someone a president, who put them in Congress.
And make sure you,
Senate,
that's true. And make sure you vote the Senate in, because they, confirm judges. That's a big component. The legislative branch is very important. Congress got the purse string. So when you talk about that, $600 a week, Congress and the Senate got to come together because they got the purse, So you got to make sure that you're electing people in there that will put investments into unemployment, that will increase the minimum wage. That's Congress. You can't even start a war. Who job is to fund it? Congress got the purse. So you got to make sure that you're electing the right ones in office. And I agree with you. I think when Cardi B, her fight is not with Candace Owens. Candace Owens is very intelligent. Some of her ideas, I agree with it. Some of her ideas, I don't agree with. I'm not just going to throw her away because she supports Trump. Some of the stuff that she preaches and that she talks about is real, but some things I disagree with. But so thank you for calling in, sister.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you for listening, and congratulations. I'm glad you had a good weekend.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right. We got calling. Who y'all? Thank you. We got y'all are calling in. 3723. Bye-bye. 3723. Calling you on the air. 3723. Hello. 3723. Area code 3.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, you're having a great show, and I want to tell everybody good morning. And I kind of wanted to piggyback off some things that one of the Trump supporters said.
Yes.
When she mentioned that she feels as if government assistance should have a time frame. I am in agreement with her. I actually work in that area, and I will say we host different monthly seminars of financial literacy, education, job-related things. And I will say it's a poor turnout each month. So we do provide opportunities for someone, to better themselves, to become self-sufficient. But I will say that a lot of people don't take advantage. I won't say all, because we do have some people that actually, they tune in and they get the resource and they get off the program, but not all. It's probably maybe 20% and 80% don't care, not interested.
And that should be a law.
Feel as if
Congress should implement a law, or the state, whatever, that in order to get this program, you must attend these financial literacy programs. If you do not attend these courses, you will lose your assistance. You will lose your you will lose the funding. It should be a requirement. You know what I'm saying? So to do those courses, that needs to be a law. I mean, it should be a law that you have to go to these job training programs in order to keep this government assistance, because we want you off of it, right? So you can be self-sufficient. And if you don't attend these courses, you don't get the assistance. That should be a law. Should have been implemented, because you should go to those courses. I agree with you.
Right. And we actually have a home ownership program, and because the credit is not up to par, we can't enroll new families. So we're always pushing for credit assistance and just trying to the education piece, period. But it's like a lot of people are not interested, and I do feel there does need to be a law so that we can have generational wealth and see progress among African Americans and others.
Absolutely.
So that's all I had to say. Thank you.
I agree. I agree with you on that. And it's programs, it do exist. They have programs where they help you become a CNA. You know, if you're so it exists. You just have to make sure you do it, and it needs to be a law in place. And thank you for your services. So that'll let you know that it is programs that exist out here. You just got to take advantage of those programs.
Right. I love you so much. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. Love you. All right. The number is 646-716-8447. Let's go to the next caller, 4217. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes, Wiley.
Yes.
All right. So I had to call back because the comment section was tearing me up. Now, okay, let me say this and you can agree or disagree. When Obama was in office, the first 4 years, he wasn't able to really do anything. He didn't start doing anything until his second term, right? So that way he can ensure he got reelected. So I'm just trying to see why not give, Trump that same, thing. I know people are saying he inciting a lot of racism and stuff. Do he need to denounce the KKK again like he did up in 2017? Yes, he do. Right now is the time for him to denounce them again because he already did it 3 years ago. So I'm not saying that,
But in Obama first term, he did pass the Affordable Care Act in his first term. So Obama did in his first term that did pass the Affordable Care Act. Yes, in his first term, yes, that did pass in his first term. That didn't pass in the first term. They did it because you got to remember he had the House.
They wasn't trying to tear down that computer site. They wasn't trying to.
What I'm telling you is that was one of his major. That was one of his major accomplishments in his first term. Actually, that's part of his legacy, passing the Affordable Care Act. That was passed in his first act. I mean, in his first term.
Okay, finish. I could have typed it up because I could have sworn that was the second, but okay.
No, it was in the first term.
When did Obama?
Because I can remember that because I remember that during the midterms, a lot of folks did not go out and vote, and a lot of those Democrats lost their seat because of their support of the Affordable Care Act, because that's when Republicans start saying this is Obamacare. They start targeting and trashing the bill. They started trashing it, so about 20.
No, I knew it was the second term because it was March 2023, 2010.
No, that's the first term. He got that was in his first term.
No, he got out of office in 2016. That's what I'm saying. It didn't go into place until the second term. He was fighting for it, and then that's once he passed it, that's when they started doing a lot of glitches with the system. Do you remember that?
No, he passed it and he signed it. It was passed and it was signed in his first term. In his first term, yes. Everything when it comes to the Affordable Care Act, it was passed and it was signed in his first term. And it was none of the Republicans voted for it. It was all Democrats voted for it because if you can remember, the Democrats had the House, the Democrats had the Senate. They had both houses, and that was one of his major accomplishments, which was the Affordable Care Act.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I'm thinking that he got up in office 2006, so that's my bad. But what I'm saying is, and I can acknowledge that I had messed up on that date and thinking that it was 2006 when he got into office. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, do Trump need to denounce KKK again? Yes, he do. Mm-hmm. I totally, yes, he does. At the same time, do I think he should get another 4 years? I do personally, this is me personally, think that he should get another 4 years because Joe Biden, this man has been up in the, well, not the actual, presidency, but he has dealt with Congress and all that for 40-something years. He has divided our families, the Black community families. he said when they asked him about that 94 bill, he said he stood by it. And this was before he went in office with Obama. So he stood by it then, and then even now he said that he's going to increase taxes. And then also he's saying for him to try to secure his spot, he's saying that he's looking to get rid of student loans. He might do it. So basically, he's not even saying that he will do it. Although Trump is saying that he's looking into doing something better for student loans. But I do think that Trump does what he said he gonna do. I do think that. So I'm just trying to see why not give somebody an opportunity of another 4 years. That's
I think the reason why I think
somebody that's been up in there for
the reason why
years.
I think that Black America particularly are against Trump is because when things happened in Charlotte, when things were going on, Trump did not handle it right. He was saying there's good people on both sides. His language when it comes to his tweets, Trump could have done an incredible. He could have came in and said, "Hey, for the Voters' Right Act, let's restore it completely." He could have came in and said, "Hey, let's put investments on the ground for Black and brown folks, for poor folks. Let's put." He really could have had an awesome first term, but reason why he's not really terrible is because he was brought in. His predecessor Obama gave him a great economy, so the economy was not bad. Another piece, when the pandemic happened, he flopped on that. He could have came out and said, "Hey, let's stop all travels from everyone completely." But when he finally did it, it was loopholes for you to still travel. He did not let Dr. Fauci and the medical expert take lead of this. Once they started to get popular, he started to speak against them and started to silence Dr. Fauci. And he could have said, "You know what? I'm the president. I'm going to sign an executive order, do massive testing." When the government, when it finally temporarily somewhat shut down, he said, "Let's do massive testing." He could have signed an executive order to say, we need free healthcare. So he could have done much more. He could have said, "Hey, Congress, hey, to the Senate, especially the Republicans, because he have a lot of power." He said, "Now we need a better healthcare system. We need to make the Affordable Care Act better for Americans because they are dying at a high rate due to this pandemic. And so let's fix our healthcare system." He could have really spoke up to the Republicans and said, "Hey, let's continue the $600 a week up into January of 2021 instead of cancel it." And he could have told the state of Louisiana all over the country and said, "We need to make a temporary freeze on evictions. Like, let's not evict people during a pandemic." So it's a lot of things that I think Trump could have, been doing. Some parts of his criminal justice reform, I think is great. But what he does, he goes on Twitter, he said different foolish things. It's like he messes his own stuff up. It's like when he do a good deed, he gets on Twitter or he gets in the media and he says stuff that just be a major turnoff to the Black community. But some things he does actually be great. Getting people out of prison, signing the First Step Act. But when he gets in office and he says the stuff he says, it just deter or take away from some of his successes as the president. Do I think he will get a second term? It's a possibility that he will get a second term. I'm looking at the debate. I'm looking at how he's going to campaign. I'm looking at the riots.
That's going to be amazing.
When the riots that are really going on because, white America still love law and order. Even some Black men, love Trump. I think over 10% of Black men voted for him. So I don't think that it's going to be like Biden is going to just beat him. It's going to be so huge. I think it's going to be a close election. And if it might be a possibility that he might win again. But again, I'm just suggesting to people to go vote and to express their, go vote early. And then if you have to vote by mail, do vote by mail, but make sure that you do go out there and vote.
Okay. So, well, let me say this. Now, people are saying how, you said something.
God, Dirty, which was it?
Yeah, because I'm looking at it. Because like right now, Trump could have said, you know what, him signing an executive order, giving extra dollars for unemployment, I think that's a win-win for Trump. But Trump again, if he learned how to stay on message and don't criticize and call people in and stay on message, he could actually win. Because some stuff he does is great. He didn't have to sign an executive order to give extra $100 for people that's unemployed. He didn't have to do that, but that's a good thing. But it gets so lost when he insults people and he does this. I'm not going to paint this picture like Trump is the most evilest person ever. No, he's not the most evil. He got some evil ways, but he have done some good things, right? He have done some good things. He could have done much better because Republicans got the Senate. And if he just try down and just work with Democrats and don't criticize the Democrats and learn how to work with them. And Democrats need to learn how not to be so critical talking about folks, because have these Democrats criticizing, look at y'all cities. Look how y'all cities are being run. So it's like, let's not act like we so good and so clean and Trump so bad, because most of these people that are criticizing Trump are career politicians that have been in office 30, 40 years. But when you go to their district, it's run down. Some of them is run down. And you looking like, y'all doing all this talking and y'all city looking like this. Look at Chicago. Nobody in Chicago shouldn't be criticizing Trump so bad when that city is run the way that it's run. That's the most worst crime-stricken cities in the country. It's in the top 10, I can say that, and it's run by Democrats. So some of his stuff, some of his messaging, I do agree with. But some of the messaging that he does, I'm totally against it. I'm against him getting people out of the country, deporting them, and then separating him and families. Even though Obama was the deporter in chief, right? I think he's that way. Obama was that way too. But I think when Trump got in office, he was so like real strong with it and separating these families. But my policy should be, if you're in this country, if you're paying taxes, you have not committed crime, then you should stay in this country and just pay a fine. Because if you're already here, paying, doing great, why should we boot you out? And I didn't like the policy when they were deporting people out of the country, that even if you are in the apartment, if they come from Marquise Wiley, I'm an illegal immigrant. If one of my roommates there and they open the door and they there and they run their name, they can take them too. They're going to get deported too. But I don't think that should be if you are actually going to work, then commit no crime. Now, if you are a felon and you're committing felonies and you're not a citizen, you are an illegal immigrant, you should be deported back to your country. But if you are an illegal immigrant and you are here and you are working, you didn't commit no felonies, right? You should pay a fine, pay back taxes, and to stay in this country. Have a pathway to become a citizen. That is what I'm on that role, because you're already here.
Okay, I'm sorry, Wiley. Because it's like you be talking so long, I be forgetting what I'm about to say. All right, okay. It came back to me. So one thing that I love that Trump did was the unemployment. It's down, like it haven't been down this low. Well, let's just say before the pandemic happened, it haven't been down that low in decades. So that's all I'm saying, because like he is a businessman coming into the political world once again. So I'm gonna, because when he first came, I didn't vote for him the first time. Although I did not want to vote for her, but I voted for Hillary, because Democrat, that's what I was raised as, and that's what it is. I'm only voting for Trump because of what he is doing. So once he get out of office, at that point, I'll be independent. Like, okay, then I'll be looking at it like, okay, who gonna do what's best for the community, my Black people,
okay,
and who's gonna do what's best for me? That's how I'm gonna be looking at it at that point. So right now, based off of what I have seen, from Joe Biden, what I'm going to do is, you know, what I've been saying, which is Trump.
Okay.
But, you know, whatever.
All right. Thank you. And I'm going to go to these next callers. Thank you, sister, for calling in. Thank you, sister. All right. 9201, call you on the air. Then we got 2 other calls after that. Just be patient. We can hear everybody. 2001, call you on the air. 9201. I said 20. Go ahead, sister. You live on the air. You said you want to be the next caller. You live. Hello. 267. Hello. Let me send that. She said, I want to be the next caller. You live.
Did you say 9?
Yes. Good morning.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you, Wiley. I'm sorry. Good morning, everybody. Okay, because I don't really have that long. So this is a good conversation everybody's having today. Number one, the wall is being built, so I don't know what that lady was talking about. That's number one. Number two, the whole Black Lives Matter thing that Joe Biden is doing right now. He thinks Black people and minorities in general are stupid. Okay, so let's just address that. They're trying to get all of the gay people and all of the minorities together to vote him in. They're playing on your intelligence. The same way that Candace Owens just said, he went to Cardi B because he's looking for the dumb people. He's looking for the people because everybody has this slave mindset right now. You see what I'm saying? Everybody thinks it's a race war when really the war is against poor people. They feel like poor people is just dumb and you're going to believe anything. That's why they go to the rappers. They feel like y'all are not intelligent. Whatever a rapper tells you to do, y'all are going to do it. So they go to these people. So let's start with the Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter, when you go to the blacklivesmatter.org, all of that money is going to Joe Biden's campaign. None of the money is going to any Black people or anything. If you go to the website on your own, reading it with your own thing, but you know why they were able to do that? Because they know that Black people don't read. The one thing that the white people didn't want people to do, they didn't care what skills Black people had. They didn't want you to read. They have it several times that this money is going to the campaign, but nobody reads. Everybody just want to be damn. It's so cool to be a follower. I have never seen something that was just this dumb in my life. Everybody wants to follow. Nobody really dislikes Trump, but Massa has told you to dislike Trump.
That's not true,
so
sister. Black Lives Matter is right, but Black Lives Matter is an organization where it's different state to state. They run it by different chapters. None of them.
It doesn't matter. All of the chapters are underneath Wiley.
No, they're not.
I need you to go.
They're not. I've known people that is a part of the Black Lives Matter in different chapters. They're not donating to no Joe Biden campaign. They can't.
All of these different chapters are being ran by Black Lives Matter. They can't do anything different. I want everybody on their own time. If you know how to
read it, where, ma'am?
Comprehend the things that you read, I need you to go onto Black Lives Matter. They actually show you exactly how much money. Joe Biden has raised over $1 billion. So whether he becomes president or not, thanks to you guys and Black Lives Matter, he will be a billionaire. That's number one, okay?
That's not
true. He doesn't care about Black people or minorities. All he cares about is controlling y'all. I don't really care because I already know that Donald Trump is still going to win because y'all are the minority. Even if
that's not true.
Black person, Asian person, Mexican person, even if every minority in the United States voted against Donald Trump,
and he cannot, right? And he cannot keep. Can I say this? And he cannot keep campaign money. He will actually get locked up. You can't keep it. Even money that is left over, you have to give it to charities. But you can't keep the money. You can't. It is illegal. You can't. You can't.
Correct, and I am telling you that you are incorrect.
You can't. No of the Black Lives Matter chapters on their website have not posted on there, and we're reading the website. We're reading the website right now. None of the Black Lives Matter on their website saying we're donating to the Joe Biden campaign. I don't see none of that.
Press donate, and it goes to a whole nother website. Press the donate button. Now what website did it go to?
Go ahead, continue.
Okay, I guess you didn't want to say it out loud. But when you go, anytime that they collect money for a campaign, they tell you where the campaign money is going. The majority of his money is going towards salaries.
Even when you click on the donate button for blacklivesmatter.com, this is what it's saying. This is what it's saying. Give me 1 second. Give me one second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. And say, fund the movement. We appreciate your support of the movement and our ongoing fight to end state sanctioned violence, liberate Black people, and end white supremacy forever. Donate to fuel our campaign for justice. You're talking about secure. Give me 1 second. You're talking about secure.actblue.com. That is a site that you use to have contributions. Many people use that site to take money. That is not saying funding Joe Biden. Ma'am, that is a lie.
That's incorrect.
That is a lie. Black Lives Matter.
It takes you to another website.
Of course, that is the tool. That is the tool for them to take money under a secure site. That is not connected to Joe Biden.
And this is why Black people would want to lose, because people that are smart.
That is not connected to Joe Biden, ma'am. Don't. That's not connected to Joe Biden.
That's why you cannot learn. You cannot learn because when somebody is trying to explain something to you and give you all of the facts, you are still telling me what your slave mind is already knowing.
Again, that's not connected. This ain't doing no slave mind. That ain't connected to no Joe Biden.
You're reading off the paper.
You're referring to Act Blue. Act Blue is not part. Is not. Act Blue is not. Again, ma'am. I am telling you. Again. That is not connected to Biden. He do not control Act Blue. No, it's not. He don't control Act Blue. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. I don't care if you cuss, ma'am. I'm telling you, it's not true.
This is why. So everybody that can actually hear my voice,
it's not true.
You want to know why Black people are poor and y'all are dumb and y'all don't have anything in your neighborhood? It's because
again, the reason
because people who are smarter than you and people who are in better positions than you try to explain it to your little dumb dickheaded ass.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to cut you off because we're not gonna be insulted and you insulting Black America when you Black yourself. That's just not gonna happen. You yelling, then you cussing, then you insulting people. Say again, on this show, Black Lives Matter movement, when you click on it, they're not telling you donate to Biden campaign. No, you're donating to the site. And you're not going to insult on this show Black America when you Black yourself. Not gonna happen. Okay? They're just not gonna happen. I had to hang up on you. You can call back. We'll bring you back on another day, but we're just not gonna insult Black America. We can agree to disagree, but I'm not gonna insult you or insult Black people. 1981 caller, you on air. Turn me down the background. Hello. Turn me down the background. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Hey. You got to turn me down. You're real loud. I hear a lot of noise.
Oh. Well, let me try and go like this.
Okay.
Is that better?
Go ahead, sister. What you got to say?
Okay. So I wanted to expound on what that young lady was just saying that you just got off the phone with. And she was talking about the Act Blue. Well, it actually is true. When you make a donation to his campaign, to Black Lives Matter, it does go to the Democratic Party. That is true. What she was saying was factual.
Go ahead, sister.
Hello?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't know if you can hear me or not. But yeah, what she was saying is factual, that it really does go to the Democratic Party. That's what I was calling for.
Okay.
That's all I wanted, Wiley. And good morning. Have a good morning, okay?
Thank you. All right. Anonymous, live on the air.
Hey, Wiley.
Hey.
I cannot believe everything I've just been listening to. I got to tell you, I respect you for letting, all the voices be heard. But one of the problems is there's so many facts that people can just seek out if they really want to, instead of these conspiracy theories and these ways of insulting Black people and our intelligence. The first thing I wanted to say was, if Trump is just a normal candidate, right? Like, these people are talking about what he has done. There are at least a dozen books. There are 3 books coming out within the next week and a half telling you just how dangerous this man is, telling you he has no policies. He has no plan. He got into this to enrich himself. And we know that because people who are around him are telling us that. His own niece told us that and told us how dangerous he is. His own, what was John Bolton? I forgot his title. But John Bolton just released a book telling us just how dangerous this man is, and that everything he does is only to enrich himself and to get reelected. He doesn't have policies and plans. He's not a politician or a good businessman. This is a selfish person who doesn't care about anyone else. So if you want to have a debate about whether you vote for Republicans or whether you vote for Democrats or whether you should be independent, then have those debates. But Trump's not a Republican, an independent, or a Democrat. He's a party of one, of himself. And I don't see how, after watching all these investigations and scandal after scandal with this man, and as I've said, 12 to 20 books written about him, one by a bunch of mental health professionals saying how dangerous he is.
One by his own niece.
Like,
and one by his own niece, Mary Trump.
Yeah,
his own.
Exactly. His own niece. Did you hear his own sister talking about him?
His sister.
And how dumb he was. And
Marianne, he's talking about Marianne.
Yeah. Marianne Trump.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm saying. These people talk all this mess and they make it seem like this is some real choice between these 2 politicians. And that's nonsense. And as to the 1994 crime bill, Wiley, I think that it's such a talking point for these people. They don't know. They haven't read through this bill. They don't know it's multifaceted. They don't know that the Violence Against Women's Act was in that crime bill. They don't know. They just take a little talking point and they throw it out. So therefore, Joe Biden hates all Black people because of the 1994 crime bill. That is BS. I would say to the intelligent people in your audience, look up the 1994 crime bill. Were there problems with it? Absolutely. But there were good things in that bill. And just take a look at it. I don't want to preach to people, but I do want them to take a look. But I just got to say, come on, people. And then somebody said he's building the wall. First of all, the so-called wall that he said would be made of steel or concrete is a fence. It's not a wall. What's been built is they've been repairing the already existing fence, and the new amount of fencing is approximately 5 miles. If you don't believe me, go to the government's website and take a look for yourself. Go look at Trump's own information for yourself and stop listening to Trump lie and saying he's building a wall.
Right, and let me say this to the lady that called in before. Whenever you bring up, we could agree to disagree. The issue that I have for this show is we're not going to insult Black people when you're bringing up a point up. And I'm not going to be so insulting to Black Lives Matter, the organization, because they have done some incredible things for Black people. The laws that have been changed because of the help of Black Lives Matter, the different groups, the different chapters that have been doing amazing work. They have done awesome work. And what gets me with people, they criticize these groups like the NAACP. You can criticize the NAACP, but guess what? They still here and they're still actually doing the work. You can criticize the Urban League, but the Urban League is still here and they're still yet doing the work. Court cases that have been fought, the NAACP, the legal fund, they does that. They be in court fighting for Black people, fighting for folks. You just don't hear it on the media because we don't have Black-owned media like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just don't have it when these stories come up. They don't, the CNN, MSNBC, they don't really talk about issues that are affecting the Black America. They don't really, not like that.
Yeah, you're right. See, some of these people, like this young woman that you had on the phone who got on here just to insult all Black people and tell us we have slave minds. I've been hearing this a lot online from these black people who think they're special because they want to go vote for Trump. You're not special because you're voting for a known out racist whose niece says he's a racist, whose lawyer and fixer says he's a racist, who your own 2 eyes and 2 ears tell you who's a racist. Fine, you go ahead and be different and special. But we are not dumb. Many black people know we are voting for policies that matter to us as individuals, not just as black people, but I care about student loan forgiveness. I sure do. I care about having the right to choose, reproductive freedom. I care about those things. I care about the environment. There's a lot of issues I care about, and those are things that make me vote for Democrats, because I'm not going to vote for anybody who wants to take away a woman's right to choose. Those are things that matter to me. That doesn't mean I have a slave mind and somebody's indoctrinated me. That just means I can look issue to issue and say, this party matches up better with my interests than that party. I'm not a rich person. So what do I care about? Big tax cuts for rich people. That's the Republican Party. That's what they're up to most of the time. What does that matter to me? So I just wanted to say, there are things you got to think through here. Think it through before you say, oh, I want to be different and special and I'm going to support something that's actually hurting you. And that's all I had, Wiley. Thanks for listening to me.
Thank you. The number is 646-716-8447. That is the number. And if you're calling in, you can call in. The number is on the screen. We got 2385 calling you on the air.
Hi, Wiley.
Hey, good morning.
I put this in the chat, but I wanted to reiterate it for those who might be listening. So the claim about the donations for Black Lives Matter group going to the DNCs, back in June of this year, it was actually debunked by factcheck.org, which is a public policy center. They actually wrote a whole article, you can look it up, and it's basically saying Act Blue Charities is a 501c3, which is a nonprofit organization, and that it specifically makes the program, it's an organization that specifically makes the platform available to charitable organizations. That's it. All they do is collect donations, and being that it is a 501c, according to the IRS, it cannot, in no fashion, no form, support any political campaign on behalf of the people that they're collecting money for, whether that be directly or indirectly. So it's just not true. And, you know, they've had people talk about how that talking point of Act Blue being affiliated with the Joe Biden campaign or any other Democratic campaign is just a talking point, and it's part of a disinformation campaign. So if you believe that, I suggest that, you know, you go and do your actual research, look at your sources, make sure it's not Photoshop, make sure you're not just clicking on something from Instagram, because it's real. You know, this information is real out here.
Absolutely, and that's the point. And you explained it, and even research, you could just see it on there. And I didn't want that saying, because you do hear that talking point, and it over and over, and that's just not true. And even if you break down Black Lives Matter movement, is run by different chapters. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad you brought it up, because they did a whole article on that, and so I'm glad that you brought it up. And even if you brought the point up, just don't insult Black people. Just bring your point across, and we just have dialogue.
Exactly. So, you know,
and then the money goes to staffing, you know, to even help, because, you know, when you run these protests and these organizations, you got to pay for marketing, strategy, social media. Even when you have these offices, you got to pay to run offices. It's not free when it comes to stuff, you know, travel and different things. That even if you don't like Black Lives Matter movement, and you feel as though it's a scam, then create your own organization. You know what I'm saying? Even when you criticize the NAACP, all right, create your own organization and go and fight for your people, right? If you don't like any of these civil rights organizations, instead of just criticizing them, calling them a scam, create your own organization. You go out there and you fight for social justice.
Exactly.
Because it's, I'm not going to say I'm
completely familiar with the Black Lives Matter organization platform, but I feel like we should all be able to agree as Black people that Black lives do matter, they should matter, you know? So even with that, because I feel like people take those words and it's like, at the end of the day, it's really about what those words mean, not necessarily the organization that is trying to that took on that name, you know?
Thank you. You're right. I hear you. Thank you for that, sister, for calling in.
Thank you, Wiley.
All righty. 1922, caller, you're on the air. 1922. Area code 404, you live on the air. Okay. I'm gonna do that again. 1922, you live on the air. Hello. Okay, I guess they're taking a call. All right. So the number is 646-716-8447. And that is the number. Also, I'm reading, and I'm just reading the chat, and I love the fact that we're having these conversations when it comes to whether it's President Trump, whether it's Joe Biden. I love the fact that we are talking about this. So, and we having these conversations. And whether you agree with Wiley or not, you don't have to always agree with me. I'm just glad that the conversation is have been birthed, because growing up, I rarely talk about these issues, politics and all of that. But now I'm engaged in these conversations. But this show have to have some type of integrity, even if we disagree with one another. Let's make sure that you are not insulting Black America or Black people, or even the host. Let's make sure that you can get your thought across and say, hey, this is what I believe, A, B, C, or D. I challenge that opinion. We leave it like that. But let's not get to a point where, oh, I'm going to just criticize Black people. Like, no, let's not criticize Black America. Let's bring our ideas up. And like I said, if you don't like any of these organizations, Black Lives Matter movement, the organization, or the Urban League, or et cetera, make sure you create your own and you be out there and you fight for justice and equality, because we need more people out there. And then I think once people start to get involved, you will see how challenging it is to run your own organization. You will see how challenging it is to be out there on the streets and fighting and being on the phone and knowing how to negotiate, and learning how to push your agenda through, because it's not easy. Even when I went back to, and I was watching a documentary, oh my gosh, it was talking about Dr. Martin Luther King, and he was going through mentally in his mind because of the stresses of running a movement. And it was so sad, because I didn't even think about what our leaders were going through. They were family, they had wives, they had children, but yet you gave your heart and soul to the movement. And one thing that Dr. King pretty much battled with is, I'm doing enough? Should I give up? You know, we love Dr. King now, but 2 years before his death, he had low ratings. Black America wasn't really dealing with him. Most of his friends had left. The donors have left. Once he spoke against Vietnam, spoke against the war, he lost a lot of support. Many people didn't want him in his church, etc. And so he was dealing with a lot. Then you had other people that was creeping up in the movement, was making their voices known, pretty much wasn't with the nonviolent stuff. So he was going through a lot as a man, and yet controlling this movement. So he didn't really gain popularity until like after his assassination, until after he was assassinated. Then that's when he started to become more popular with Black America. That's when people really started, to start screaming in support of Dr. King and loving Dr. King. But when he died, 2 years, the last 2 years of his life, he was not that popular as he is today. Even when it comes to, when his idea of, nonviolence and integration, he started to realize, like I integrated my people into a burning building. And he started to have doubts. Like, Maybe it needs to be another. And then he noticed that maybe we need to tackle poverty and the poor people's march. And then he noticed, and then he started to travel to Chicago, and he started to see the poverty stricken. And then he started to see how white folks was up north, that some of them was more worse than the people in the South. Because when he went to Marquette Park and he went up there and they were protesting and marching, and them white folks start throwing stuff, and it was, he would say it was terrible than the South. And they were outnumbered by the people in the North. They tried to put that march and sing "We Show Up in Chicago." Nobody said, "Oh no," and it was bad. Even Richard, Mayor Daley, Senior, even had told Dr. King to go home, leave my city. He called, President Johnson, said he needs to leave. He causing up too much trouble in my city. So, and what he was exposing, the mismanagement of funds. What was he exposing? Poverty-stricken areas, and what was he was exposing and shining a big light into what was going on in Chicago. So let's go to the phone lines. 1922, Cardi on air.
Hello, Wiley. This is Miss P. I'm back. I kept getting phone calls. I was like, they trying to let me get my phone out. Okay, so I did like you. I took my little notebook out and I jotted down some things so I do not forget anything. Okay, so first I want to amend the lady who did fact check on that loud and obnoxious caller who's trying to talk over you. Why do you handle that so well? Me, I am a work in progress. She would not have been able to get that many words out on my show, yelling and screaming over me like that. Okay, I digress. Okay, so first I want to say, in the words of Goody Mob, "Live at the Army." Are you aware of that song?
No, ma'am.
Okay, "Live at the Army," it says, 1 million ninjas inside. You can't break us even though you try. Okay? You go and look up that song and you can hear the rest of it. It means that we have 1 million Black people that's right here dealing with the same issues, but it will be the same situation, just like with Marcus Garvey, when he tried to get the ship to send the Black people to Africa, and there was a Black man that was hired by the FBI to sell Marcus Garvey these broken down ships. So when Marcus Garvey thought that he was buying these ships to go to Africa, and all these people donated all their money to support him, and when Marcus Garvey found out, and the people found out the ships was raggedy and everything, they thought Marcus Garvey was trying to take his money. But what happened was the federal government infiltrated and put a Black person inside to infiltrate Marcus Garvey's movement, so it could look like that, he was trying to duke out the people. Okay, we're gonna always have 1 million ninjas inside that will do whatever it takes, because all they're interested is in their interest, their household, their children, until their children has a foot on their neck, or until their children is shot in their back while they're entering the car, or until their child is shot in the house while they're trying to feed their children. You know what I'm saying? You can't always just wait for it to happen to you before you can do something. My second little note, it says like the Willie Litt syndrome. There's a lot of people still dealing with the Willie Litt syndrome. Trump himself is dealing with the Willie Litt syndrome. He is carrying out the young against the old, the light against the dark, the poor against the rich, that whole separation. We got to stop doing all that separation stuff, And then the unemployment that this woman is trying to give Trump credit for, she has to understand that these policies, the government is ran by 3 branches, okay? And these policies take years to be implemented, to be voted on, before they even reach the president's desk. So Trump cannot get credit for 8 years of what Obama has been doing before it actually reached the president's desk, which Trump is trying to get credit for what Obama was doing in his 8 years of presidency. Now, the only thing we're going to be able to find out what Trump has actually done for what he has signed off on, is we're going to have to wait 8 years after his presidency, too, to actually really find out what he has implemented and the changes for the future. Because he cannot get any credit for what's going on now, because these laws have to be voted on years and years before they even reach the president's desk. These Congress people and all the people that we voted on has been working on these people that does not get any credit for anything, while the presidents are getting credit for everything. There's smaller people that have been working their asses off trying to get these bills passed to get the rights for the people, and they should get credit for it, not President Trump, and not even Obama. There's smaller people that was working hard for these rights. Too, Joe Biden. Joe Biden is no different than Clinton. Out of Clinton and Trump, I voted for Clinton. Out of Trump and Joe Biden, I will vote for Joe Biden. Cardi B been used. She has been used. And that's the reason why I give a side eye to Kamala Harris. When Kamala Harris was on TV and she did that, they was asking Kamala, oh, okay, who's on your playlist? And Kamala was like, Cardi B. I'm looking at her like, girl, you know damn well Cardi B is not on your playlist. But you just want to throw Cardi B's name out.
But today,
for clicks.
Right, today she says Mary J. Blige, so I can kind of believe Mary J. Blige. That she said that today.
Yeah, I can believe Mary J. Blige, but before, when she was running for president, she said Cardi B. You know?
Yeah,
was a lot.
Yeah, and what gets me, I get the pandering, I get it that you want to utilize, but you ain't got to pander to us and think that it's crazy, because at the end of the day, I think people's minds are made up. The only difference is encouraging them to go out to the polls, right? Because people's minds are pretty much made up. Your mind is made up, ma'am. I think we don't have too many undecided people. The question is, will you go out and vote in November, not just for president, because there's so many people that are going to be on the ballot, so many local elections, state elections, so much stuff, decisions that you're going to make on that election day. So what I highly suggest is to go to vote.org and make sure that you're registered to vote. Make sure you call your election, the office that handle the elections, whatever it is, to confirm that you are registered, and to make sure, if you're in Texas, I know for a fact, they give you your voter registration card, and make sure you have that, because I have mine on my desk. Now, what did I do with my voter registration card? It's somewhere around here. Make sure you have that. Okay, here it goes. They give you your voter registration card, and make sure you have that, and call and verify. Because like right now, they give you your number. This expired on 12/31/21. And it gives you the precinct number, it gives you city, give you all of this stuff that it have. So you sign it and have your voter registration card as well, and vote local and everything like that. So our election administrator is Frank Phillips. That's in Denton, Texas. Texas, and they gave you like a PO box, and it also gives you the number. And this is actually for Texas. So make sure that you are doing your research on who you're going to vote for, and don't just go in there and not knowing. And get your piece of paper, who you're going to vote for. You did your research, so you'll know which number to punch and everything like that. Do your research when you go in the polls.
I feel you. And I was just reading something that said Obama was not a good president. Okay. What I just want to make a comment towards that. I am not going to defend Obama's president, whether it was good or whether it was bad. Do I agree with Obama's presidency? Me personally, I love Obama and the whole family, but I am not a big supporter of his presidency. You understand? I feel like Obama went in there like a kumbaya, let's work together. I think he wanted to use the fact that he was half black and half white, and was thinking that the white people had as much love for him as the black people. He just thought that they were really going to listen to him. You know what I'm saying? But he found out that no. And what he should have realized, that when America, a country that clearly shows that we are a racist country, and we're founded on racism, when they allow a black man to become president, that means right now they want somebody to put foot on the neck. They want somebody who was willing to stand alone. They didn't want a kumbaya president. They wanted somebody who was willing to be loud and don't care if he had any people, on his side. Unfortunately, Obama didn't get that note, that message. You know what I'm saying? He was doing the kumbaya. But I love Obama. He tried his best, and he just opened up the doors for the future of our people to be able to come in there and put
the beauty of Obama. I think the most successful thing of his presidency is showing the world, especially Black people, Black boys and girls, that the importance of education, the importance of being intelligent, showing the beauty of Black families, and actually showing Black children that never limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. Work hard. And also getting people engaged into politics. When I saw him, when he ran, never was into politics. I avoided it. But once he got elected, I started to pay attention to politics. I started to pay attention to the system. And I started to realize that, Obama, to see the resistance and to hear, and I started to research these candidates. I was like, whoo, it's a lot of people that been in office for 40 years that need to be out of office because you ain't doing that, But I never would have noticed that if Obama did not get elected. But due to his him getting elected, I really started to pay attention to politics and start paying attention to the system. Then I started to pay attention to local and state elections and understand. Then I started to Googling that, city council people, in Chicago, they call them aldermen, and they call them, when you start to notice that they get a couple of million to take care of their ward. And so a lot of things I would have never noticed until he got elected. And so that idea was birthed in me, and to say, okay, Mr. Wiley, you can run for office and you need to get involved and use your voice and all of this. And I started to notice Roland Martin, and I started to notice power of media. So, I just think for that idea alone, he have birthed to a lot of Black people to get engaged into politics and also take education serious, and just shows you the beauty of the Black family. I just think, that's just the beauty of the power of the Black woman, seeing Michelle Obama. Do you know that sends the idea to Black girls that look at this, look at this beauty, look at this spirit, because we have seen white politicians, white families for decades. We never seen a Black family, in the White House. And even them out of the White House, you see them using their power and their influence to yet tell people to go out and vote and to participate into the they're out there working. You see Michelle Obama, you see her success and how she remind you that she's from the South Side, and telling folks, I'm gonna never forget it. She said that, I don't care how much it is, how much I've been in all of these rooms, and let me tell you, they are not the most smartest people, and I have been in the most powerful rooms around the world, and they're not the most smartest people. So I just think from that idea alone, I just love them for that. I can disagree with some of his policy, could have been better, but you also got to call out Congress and the Senate. And that's why I tell people politics, it's a balance. And a lot of people in Congress, a lot of people in the Senate didn't do a better job. Now, what I tell people now is to make sure that you are voting for your senators and your Congress people and your state representatives, and your locals. So all that stuff, that's power in that. So don't just ignore them and just vote for president, and don't vote for judges and all of that other stuff.
We can have a whole show talking about how great the Obama family is. Not even just the Mr. and Miss Obama, but even their children. I love the whole family. Of course, what happened, but I don't feel he had a lot of support. So that's why I think he wasn't able to do so much. And I think Obama showed another side of Black people, because they always say, that we're aggressive, but he showed patience. And that I have to amend him for, because that will allow us to get another chance. You understand? So Obama, even though we expected a lot of changes, but what Obama did was open Pandora's box. It was a box about racism that was being ignored from people like your previous caller who said she was a pro-Trump supporter. She probably lived in a big, beautiful house, probably drive a Mercedes. You know, she didn't have to worry about the pandemic. Her bills were paid. She didn't have these issues. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of Black people that doesn't.
But it
have
also
that,
too, ma'am. Also too, Trump. It's like a whole list of accomplishments that the Trump administration have accomplished in this country. I mean, he signed 3 bills to benefit Native people. Also, too, Trump finalized the creation of the Space Force as our 6th military branch. Then you also get Trump signed a law to make it cruelty to animals a federal felony so that animal abusers can face tougher consequences. Then also, too, violent crime has fallen every year he's been in office. So you look at, Trump signed a bill making CBD and legal. So it's a lot, Trump EPA gave $100 million to fix the water infrastructure problem in Flint, Michigan. So if you go down the list of his accomplishments, he have accomplished a lot. The reason why people don't focus on his accomplishment is because of his rhetoric, is because of things that he says in the media, and because he says a lot to give his opponents things to really criticize him on. But he have accomplished some things under his administration. I'm not gonna get up here and say he haven't done nothing, because that I'll be up here lying, right? He could have done a better job, but we also got to call out Congress. Because Congress could have been doing, you see how bad they'll run, how they go on vacations before anything comes. How you gonna go on vacation when we in a pandemic and we y'all haven't even came up to a conclusion of a stimulus? Y'all can get on one accord, but you just can't blame that on Trump. That comes from the mismanagement and the sadness of Congress and Senate. But go ahead, sister.
But that's what I mean about open up Pandora's box. When Obama became president, it's like when Obama became president, we saw America's true face. When the Democrats didn't support Obama the way they were supposed to, when Joe Biden did not support Obama, Joe Biden supported Obama the same way Trump's vice president is supporting him. We don't hear from Trump's vice president, and we didn't hear that much from Joe Biden when Obama was president. The only time I heard from Joe Biden was when Joe Biden's son died and Obama gave him that medal. Then that's when he started liking Obama. That's when we started seeing Joe Biden's face and Obama's face in the same space. You understand? So it showed not only that Republicans are just as racist, but it let us know that the Democrats were just as racist as the Republicans. So let's not think that the Republicans are the only ones that's racist. You know what I'm saying? Because Obama should have had more support during his presidency from his party, which would have allowed him to be able to make more powerful moves. But because that racism was in the gut of many people that we elected in our Congress, which is why we're voting now, which is why some of the accolades that we're giving Trump, which Trump gets credit for some stuff that he did sign off for, but some of the stuff are just the remaining of what Obama left. You understand? It's not that he gets credit for it, it's that the bill came across Trump's desk and he had a choice to sign it or not sign it. But whether or not he walked that bill across his desk, he didn't put in that footwork.
Okay.
You understand? Like the Obamacare. Obama could have chose many healthcare plans, but what he did was he chose a Republican healthcare plan and named it the Obama plan. You understand? But the whole battle had nothing to do with the healthcare plan. It was more than the fact, I think, was that Obama's name was on it. But it's their original healthcare plan. And what I'm saying about opening up Pandora's box is that in order for our country as a nation to move forward, we're going to have to really start learning how to respect one another. And that means in order for us to even get to that line of respect, we're going to have to deal with the problem of America, which is racism.
All right.
And Obama opened up that box. Right. And with Trump's rhetoric, even though we hate it, it is necessary. In order for triumph, sometimes you got to go through pain. And I think that what Trump is doing, allowing us to go through some of that pain, is that I see in the future, and maybe that's just my
presumption is that I see that in the future, yeah, we're going through a lot right now, but we're going to see some beautiful flowers come out in the end. Because this conversation alone, the fact that we're having this conversation is a part of that Pandora's box being open. You know what I'm saying? We have to face what our biggest demon is in America, which is racism. If we could get over that hump, America as a nation and a lot of our problems as a nation will be solved if we accept and deal with that issue alone.
All right. Thank you, Kusa. I'm going to go to the next caller. Thank you so very much. The number is 646-716-8447. We got a caller, 1933. Caller, you on the air. Hello. Turn me down the background. 1933. You live on the air? Yes, good morning.
Am I on your show?
Yes, you're live.
Mr. Wiley?
Yes, you're live. Go ahead,
I'm
sister.
live?
Yes, you are.
Oh my God. Listen, much respect to you.
Thank
You're
you.
a true Black king. Do you understand me?
Thank you.
Because at least you have the courage to get on here and speak up, first of all. But second, all right, let's move on. I'm going to share some of the facts. I'm so nervous. I feel like you're a star.
I'm not a star. Not when my
Anyway.
bank account looking like that. Let the zeros be in.
I'm getting your autograph. I'm telling you. But anyway, and a picture and a selfie.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
anyway, I'm Crystal. I'm from Delaware, ironically. Wilmington, Delaware, right here where Biden is sitting. I'm born and raised here. And I got to honestly see how parts of my city changed. And at the same time, I'm 47 years old in a 21-year-old body. But I had to relearn and research the things that I was taught from school to my mom, you know, parents or whatever, where I found out there's a lot of truth that got explained now when you look back. And one thing I can say is, you know, there was an agenda set to destroy the Black family, no matter how we put it. And it's been in set before Obama, before Trump, before, you know, a 16-year plan set, you know. And then the saddest part is the fact that us as Black people, some of us, our attention span is so short that, yeah, only thing we gravitate to is music, partying, and that's it. I see that with my friends, let alone on TV or whatever. But at the same time, they know our attention span. And, you know, us as people, finding out where we come from literally matters. But not enough of us will. Because so many of us will only believe what we're told and what we see, and find it hard to go ahead and just do some research. Open your mind a little bit, get a little more ideas or suggestions or reasons on why things are the way they are. And I'll tell you, I've watched too many Black men die and go to jail. And a lot of them didn't have to. But then I watched too many people with money who do just as worse stay out of jail. I wonder why. It's because that plan was set. These people are set in place to keep us down and keep the agenda going. I appreciate Obama and I appreciate them. I really do, because it gave us a portrait of what we could be. But when you do the research on Obama, it is mind-blowing. It is scary. It do hurt. Believe me, it do. But at the same time, I'm sorry. Fact number one, 2015, more guys was killed in Chicago, and I don't even live in Chicago. More guys was killed in Chicago than the Jim Crow law. You know, I understand with this, but, you know, that's our brothers dying. And I remember that was the one thing I held Obama accountable for at the beginning. I voted for him
The first run, I didn't vote for him. The second one. And I really felt some type of way because I already see it in my own city, let alone if you're in Chicago and the guy's killing like that, you don't find it, you're just really okay with ignoring it or not doing anything about it. All the talk without action don't mean nothing anymore. I'm sorry, guys. And it's time for us as Black folk to understand we have a job to do, and it first starts with ourselves. And then we can deal with, like you said, from the state to the local, whatever, all the way climbing up top. Listen, Trump is a white man. He's a white man, but he's going through what I say as us Black people go through. You accuse, no proof, and you go down. When you do that man's research, you'd be surprised. Again, and we need to remember, if anybody loved Kennedy back in the day, Trump was Kennedy's son's best friend. We need to pay attention. He can't say everything he's going to do because we don't like the truth. And you cannot give the whole truth to everyone. You have to drop it slowly because we have been lied to for so long. 4 companies own the media. Obama made it so the media can tell us whatever they want to tell us. They don't got to get no proof. They don't got to go look for no facts. It's just all this name calling, all this just like 2-year-olds. And we get far from the agenda. We get far from the problem. We dealt with our own people that argue, fuss, talk crap. Now all of a sudden we can't understand it from this white man? Are you serious? No, you know why? Because nobody is coming to that table with an agenda. Because if nothing else, we know that man was a businessman. When he was cool with everybody, they had him in their rap songs. Now they're not cool with him. Go to his desk with an agenda, and then let's see what type of man he is. Because I'm sorry, I got so much to say, I can write it down. But at the same time, Wiley, please do your research, sir. Because, when you go behind the Black Lives Movement and all that, they were down here in Wilmington the other day, screaming at the police. They were at our police station. It's only about 4 of them. They had the bullhorns. I'm driving past. They're screaming at the police, at the police office. Okay. What is that doing for us in the hood? The guys are still on the corner. The kids still need help. What is that doing? Come to find out they was fussing. I think 2 people got arrested. But it's like, okay, after all that, what is it doing to better us as a people? Not even, like you said, not even just Black Lives Movement. I say Black Families Matter. I won't even say that BLM, because when you do see it on the computer, you follow the money. You see where the money goes. On the computer, you look in your community and you clearly, physically see where the money goes, and it don't come back to us. It don't. And the Democrat, Republican, you're right. They're all, I read a 3-page list of Republicans going down all over for that pedophile stuff. That's another thing. Everybody keep forgetting this pedophile crap. And Biden is part of it. I'm telling you now, his son did a Black thing. How his son go to the thing club and get a baby by? Come on, y'all.
I don't know about that. But
come on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get that.
It's true.
Listen, I'm not gonna.
The lady was taking him to court, Wally.
I'm not gonna get into deep what his family or what does and stuff like that, because I don't know. I can't speak on on that or what the list or thing of that nature. But one thing I can speak on is that we do need to do a better job fighting for justice and equality for poor people all over this country. That needs to be.
You're
so I'm
right.
not, and unfortunately, we're dealing with a mismanagement of funds. that to me is a fact. You know, if you're looking at an area that is deprived of economic development, you will continue to have crime. If you're in an area, in a good area with no crime and crime is low, I can guarantee you, y'all have resources there. I can guarantee you your tax dollars is going there to help with infrastructure and to help with services. And we need those type of services all over the country. And so what get it is not just with president, you know, the state are run by state policies, and your mayor got to have a great job too, but also too, it got to come with the state, and the local got to learn how to work together as well as with federal resources. So my prayer is that we be more out there, and it's a lot of more work to do. It's like it is so much to do. And we got to be a part of it. So
it really starts with us as individuals. We have to work ourselves so we can get out, work with ourselves, so we can get out here to work with everyone. And I'll give you another example with Wilmington, where I'm from, Delaware. You know, right now, the city council, everybody's running for, you know, seats and stuff. They go on Zoom to do the council meeting because of, obviously, the corona. And these people are on there arguing while they're on there. They're our city council representing Wilmington, Delaware. But you clearly see they're arguing. They cannot even come up with whatever it was they were fussing about. It's not even important. It's the fact that they represent us. They get on their thing, and they can't even come to an understanding. Just like we say, agree to disagree. Everybody's different. Clearly, we're not going to have the same ideas, but we still have a way. We have the energy. We have they should have the guidance to bring it together. And I'm like, wow, look at this. This is why we can't. This is the prime example. Because you got the top arguing on TV. What is that showing us?
All right.
Like, if y'all fussing, how far are y'all getting from what really needs to be done, or the importance of coming up with more ideas or plans and stuff?
Thank you so much for calling in.
You know?
All right. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Okay. I'm coming to see you. I am. I see you on my screen. You can look like that all you want with your beautiful eyes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
God bless you, sister. All right. The number is 646-8447. Anonymous, you live on the air.
Finally, after your last call, I had to call back in. I mean, that was she's spewing QAnon and conspiracy theories. Initially, what I wanted to say, though, was the Senate, it looks like the Senate, which of course is led by Republicans, they did issue their report on the Russia investigation on August 18th of 2020. This woman that was just on the phone was saying that there's no evidence. They just say things and there's no proof against the president. There's 966 pages in this report, and it is all proof and evidence against the president. If she's interested in looking at actual proof and evidence rather than spewing QAnon conspiracy theories, she should take a look at it and read it. It's written by his own party after the investigation that took place. And their investigation actually says what worse than what Robert Mueller's report says. That's another report she can read if she wants to look at actual facts. She said that this man's a businessman. Trump's a businessman. And if you just come to him with an idea, that's absurd. Trump is a businessman who bankrupted 6 businesses. His father gave him money. How many people do you know who can't even keep a casino going in Atlantic City? Was a terrible businessman. What he is a showman.
His father not only gave him money, but so much money. His father, when he had the casino in Atlantic City, he will buy chips, and his father had to pay a fine because he was trying, because it's illegal to give like loans to like casinos like that. So his father was we're doing that. His father was just giving him so much money. It was getting so bad that the banks had to give him an allowance. It was just really bad what Trump did with his money. Even though his father, some of his ways was on borderline criminal, but he ran a smooth operation with his business. But Trump his business was terrible. His father was just pouring money into his son, and it was just crazy. And another thing that I read about Trump, he tried to boot his brothers and sisters out of the will. He tried to exit them out of the will. he wanted total control of his father's will, total control of all of the money, and he wanted to his brothers like to beg him for a coffee. But if they did not find it out, his sisters and brothers would have to call him up just to get a hamburger if they wanted to get a hamburger from their father, from the whatever their father had left. So he wanted all the money for himself. But if you actually read it, it's out there, people. It is out there. But go ahead, sister.
Well, that's what I mean. I wish we could have, and again, I really do. I mean, I agree with her about one thing about how great you're doing. But I wish we could have a conversation based around facts instead of people and their theories. You know, there's so many Black people that call in and say they're tired of seeing Black people be poor and standing on the corner, and then they somehow tie that into the president, as if the president is going to be able to fix the systemic issues, generational poverty, and generational curses in their 4 years. That's not what the president is going to do. And I wish Black people could understand, not all of us, many of us do understand, but I'm saying these specific people who act like you expected Obama to make sure that there were no more gangbangers or no more poor Black people, that somehow because we had Obama, everything was going to be okay when this country was built exactly for us not to be okay. So I don't know what goes through people's heads with all these theories and things they're spewing, but I really wish that people would pick up a book, pick up the Senate report, pick up Bob Mueller's report, look at actual truth, look back into Trump's history, especially these people who keep saying he's a businessman. That makes me want to scream. His business history is terrible, from discrimination cases, from all the small business people he stiffed, people he wouldn't pay. Just take a look at how many lawsuits this man was involved in. Take a look at his torrid affairs that he had. And I mean, there's just so many different things to look at with this man. And when you think about a president and a businessman, those two things don't really go together. Presidents have to be diplomatic. They're not making deals just for their own personal enrichment, which is what Trump has done all his life. You got to know what it is to govern. You got to know how to work with other countries. You got to know how to lead. You got to know how to do things that aren't necessarily skills that a person who ran their own business would have. And so that's why people look at him and he comes into the government. He has no idea how government works. He thinks you can just do whatever you want to and it gets done. And that's not how it goes. So what I'm asking for is, I know I can't convince some of these people, but if there are people who are going to make these statements, at least base them in some fact other than some stupid website that you read that's telling you about Pizzagate. Like, I can't even believe, I'm shocked at the people calling in, literally spewing Pizzagate conspiracies. and it's crazy. There's a woman who sued Donald Trump who said he raped her at age 13. I'm not saying it's true, but that's an actual lawsuit. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's a lawsuit. You can look it up. So, okay, Wiley, I'm sorry. I talked too much. These people are driving me crazy with these conspiracy theories and this business.
And what gets me when they do the conspiracy theories, I'd say you got to be careful with it because there's so many people that runs for that. Because even with that situation, I think people came there and invaded these places and put these people addresses out just based on a lie. And you got to be very, very cautious with that. And what I do is I read books. I try to get as much information that I can consume so we can have an intelligent conversation about facts, right? But it is some that will give conspiracy theories, will get a lot of noise because Trump played on conspiracy theories. He was the biggest conspiracy theorist as they come, even when it came to that, when it came to that birther movement. We all knew that President Obama was born in this country, but Trump and Obama was forced to even release his birth. The first sitting president had to release his birth certificate because people got up there and lied and said, Trump led the charge. He said, hey, this man is not a citizen of this country. But you go back, even with the Central, I call it exonerated 5, but before they was exonerated 5, they was what? The Central Park 5. Trump took out a full-page ad calling for the death penalty for those 5 black brothers. Those black, one was a Latino, but they were men of color. And years later, DNA evidence came out that they were not guilty, that they were actually innocent. And President Trump, not even to this day, came out and apologized for the lies, lies that he spewed back when those brothers were in the media. And so it's sad to see people rush with these conspiracy, but they won't give the same energy to the facts, and that'll just let
They
you know.
won't, and then look at, like, when I look at the stuff he's done, like his fake university that he had to settle a lot.
Trump University, I remember that. Yeah.
His fake charity.
Yeah.
And then you think about COVID, right? Right now we're still dealing with COVID, and Black people have disproportionately died from COVID, right?
Absolutely.
And yet we have Black people who seem to have no problem with the way that this man has managed this crisis. This is a man who told us initially, oh, it'll go away. This is no big deal. Don't worry about it. The heat will take it away. And now we got 180,000 dead Americans on his watch. And while he's telling people to ingest bleach and be hit by UV lights and other nonsense, instead of consoling people, instead of coming up with a national plan on how to combat this pandemic, he's done terribly. But you won't hear that from these people. They're so busy talking about a 1994 crime bill. Some of the people in your audience weren't even born in 1994. They're so busy talking about something.
Yeah, because I was only 4 years old. So, and I was running with that talking point, but I talked with people that was alive and during that era. He said, Wiley, you got to think back in 1994, the violent crime that would happen against women, the violent crime that would happen in cities across America, and Black mayors and Black politicians were pressured to do something about the crime. Now, politicians went a little bit too far from it, because what they should have been doing is economic investments and everything. But their whole idea, more police, more prisons, more jails, lock them up. That was the rhetoric, because there was a lot of crime going on. People were getting their cars jacked.
And these people,
it was crazy.
People they won't acknowledge what you just said, and that's what kills me too. It's easy to look at stuff in hindsight, right? And say, you know what, this might have contributed to mass incarceration because it encouraged, more prison building. If you build more prisons, you got to fill them up. So you can look at that in hindsight. But for those of us who were alive during the crack cocaine epidemic, when it hit our communities, and unfortunately, when it's our people, the reaction tends to be more about retribution rather than rehabilitation. That's an issue. That's a part of racism. But it was a reaction to what was happening, and people don't talk about that. It's like people sit back now and say, well, Joe Biden just sat back and wrote a racist bill saying let's incarcerate all Black people, and that's not what it was. They don't even understand that most incarceration is on the state level, not the federal level. People don't even understand that bill was a federal bill. It's so frustrating to me. All I ask is that people read. That's it. Just start reading. Stop spewing nonsense. Read for yourself, and then come up with your determination. You don't have to agree with me, but then just come up with a reasoned, fact-based decision.
Amen to that. And you're so right about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody that had called in. This was a lengthy show, but it was a show that's needed, right? And we can talk about the mess, and we can talk about politics. We talked about a whole plethora of support on the Wiley Show. Even if you lose support, it's just an incredible show when it comes to that. I highly suggest, that you go to vote.org. Let me make sure that I had the right one. You go to vote.org, and when you go on there, you can check your registration. You can register to vote. You can vote by mail. You get election reminders. You can pledge to register. It also have a polling place locator. It also have on there to become a poll worker. I also have on there information about the 2020 census. So whatever you do, make sure that you double check, triple check that you are registered to vote. Now, if you just register, it probably won't show up on Vote.org. It's like a process for them to show up in their system. Make sure you verify with your election office in your city, state. Make sure you double check to make sure you actually on there. One thing I like about Texas is they give you a voter registration card, and make sure they give it to us so I am registered to vote. And then when they mailed me the card, I called them to verify that I was actually registered. So I am now registered here in Dallas, Texas. So I'm excited for that. This will be my first time actually voting, and in Dallas. So I'm excited about that. and I think it's great. So I'm looking in the chat. I'm looking here. I'm looking at all the people. Wow. And so this was a lengthy show. This was a lengthy show today. So if you missed the episode, we will not be going live again today. So you can rewatch the show, leave a comment, tell us how we did in the show. I want to thank everybody for calling in, even those that, say they will not support the show, etc. But I thank you as well for your support because, like I said, you will not always agree with Wiley. It will be some days you will disagree with us, and it will be some days you will agree with us. But the beauty of it is you might be mad at me today, and then tomorrow you might love us again. But I just thank you for the support of the show when it came to. And actually, I highly suggest that you do vote early, that you don't wait at the last minute to vote, that you stand on vote early so you can get your vote in, because most of us, hopefully all of us, have our mind made up of who we're going to vote for. And ask questions, research the candidate, have a list of the people that you're voting for, and when it's time to vote early, go there, put your ballot in. So when election day comes, you ain't got to stress about standing in that long line. You actually can just put you can be like, hey, I already voted. So that's a good thing. Also, too, let me pull this up really quickly because we have some good news about Station Head. Let me go to my email right quick. I just wanted to show this before I go because I had got it in the email today. We are still trending on Station Head, and I'm shocked because we rarely be on Station Head like that. Can I pull it up? Where is it at? Is this it right here? Yeah, this is it. Actually, let me, and this is when I got it. I'm going to show it on Station Head. We are still trending on Station Head. Out of thousands of shows, we are trending on there. Let me pull this up really quickly. Here we go. I'm going to pull it up. Wow, I'm shocked that we are trending on Station Head. Congratulations, your show is trending at number 20 out of all of these shows. And we really be over there. Like, we are trending on Station Head. I'm like, what? I can't believe it. Out of all of these shows, we are trending on Station Head. Really. I just like, what? So thank you all for that. If you want to listen to any of the shows that we have on there, I'm going to drop it on the link. And I'm going to drop it down. So give me a second. I'm going to drop the link down there. So if you want to listen to any of those episodes, it's available. We have some good, fun shows on there. Some good, fun shows. Let me actually go to Station Head right quick. I meant to go live on Station Head today, but I forgot. Wow. I just can't believe it. So, because what people are doing, they're going on these old shows that we did, and they're listening to the show. Okay. Then now you can get coins on Station Head. It's a lot of stuff that you can get on Station Head now. So give me a second. I'm going to drop it in the comments really quickly of the Station Head. So I'm going to drop the link down there. I can't wait. Okay. No, I don't want to do that. Let me drop this down here. So people are like, where's the link at? Let me see. Oh, there. It ain't dropping. Ooh, where's the link? I just dropped it down here. Hold on. Did it drop down there? Okay. Let me see. And also I'm going to be dropping like my Robinhood link on there too. There we go. So if you want to listen to the Station Head show, I'm going to drop that down there. If you want to invest and you want to get on Robinhood and get down there, you can use my promo code. I'm going to put that down there. Just give me a second. I'm going to share the link because somebody asked for it yesterday, and it's actually working today. And it was working yesterday too, so somebody asked for it. I'm going to drop that down there as well. Wow, I'm so happy. Yeah, so that was great. Okay, I'm looking at it right now. So that was congratulations to us. And we go live. We try to do it every Monday. We didn't do last Monday because it was a holiday. So, but we are trying to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stream live on Station Head while I'm streaming live on YouTube. Just do what Millie does, how she just go live on Station Head, and we'll just go live on YouTube as well. So shout out to y'all and thank you all so very much. for checking out the show, and I will see y'all soon. Peace. This was great. Make sure y'all donate. Marquise Wiley 28, that keeps the show going. Make sure you're contributing and sharing, going on Patreon, etc. And we got some more stuff that we're doing over there, so I can't wait for the new stuff that we're going to do on Patreon. Thank y'all. Peace.